Is that what you're saying?
No,
Man,
of course not.
It's going to be rough. It's going to be a rough day. All right, big day today. It's Friday, of course. Brenda Talent, CEO of Show Me Institute, waiting patiently to speak with us. Larry Connors, the commander, at 9:25. What are you watching? Kathy Kaiser will join us, 10:25. Miller time, all our fun Friday stuff. Chris Cooper from Serenity Wealth Management, chat box, and the wheel of audio clips. Cole, I think I will do the Pledge of Allegiance today. Is that okay with everybody?
Sounds good to me.
Please rise. Wait, there's a commercial on TV. Senor, woo! Okay, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Brenda Talent, CEO of the Show Me Institute. Good morning. How are you? It's been a long time since we've had a chance to chat.
Yeah, it has. Good morning to you.
I was starting to think that you didn't want to be on with me anymore. It's getting like a complex.
No, now stop that, Vic. You just don't invite me. Come on.
Oh, yeah, right. No, we don't want the CEO on. Any lower level people?
You are my experts. I get it. I won't hold that against
All right,
you.
fair enough. All right, so let's talk about early literacy legislation. I love the sound of that, but is it something that just sounds good, or is it going to be something that is good?
Well, it's not precisely what we would recommend. There are other things we would have in it, but we got to say we're pretty happy with this bill that's moving on. The House has passed it; it's gone over to the Senate now, and the key element that you have to have in these bills for them to be successful is to have a strong retention policy. In other words, if by the end of third grade they can't read, you got to hold them back. Of course, there's a lot of intervention, once they enter the school system until they reach that third grade. But that's the key. That's where we've seen a lot of success, and the bill still has that. So we're keeping an eye on it. If they end up taking that out, which I don't think they will, then we would revisit how enthusiastic we are about the bill. But other states have passed legislation like that. They've implemented it, and they've seen dramatic changes in their literacy rates for their third graders.
So doesn't a lot of this start at home, parents reading to children? Isn't that really truly part of the kid's future?
It is, but that's not to say that, if a parent isn't doing that the school can't make a difference. We've seen that a school can, and it's all about the right programs with that focus on actually helping the child to succeed. So yes, a parent should be doing that. Parent is the child's best advocate, but we can have our school system set up in a way that they're being held accountable to for what we're trusting them to do.
Right, and I think when you do, though, read to your child at a young age, you're making it easy for the child and easier for the teacher because they got a little bit of a head start.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not to confuse things, not the Head Start program. You familiar with the Head Start program?
A little bit. It's not, I think the studies show that it's not what people quite tout it to be.
Right.
It's cost a lot of money, and it doesn't produce the results that the advocates say that they want it to produce, because the truth of the matter is you do need more one-on-one instructions with children.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the governor, Governor Keough's executive order from January on school and district report cards. Is a clear, academically focused approach, but the House legislation weakened that progress and should be corrected in the second half of the season. What's the problem?
Okay, so what they're doing is they're creating for the grades A through F, we wanted to focus on performance. They've now added a criteria about school climate. Now, Vic, maybe you can enlighten me. I don't know what it is they're trying to grade. It's a word salad of things that they're going to do where, in my opinion, it's like measuring consumer satisfaction, but they're going to measure teacher satisfaction, parent satisfaction. I mean, they're putting a lot of what I call subjective things in, and there's no requirement that people actually respond. So they're going to give schools a grade based upon this criteria, which people have not. I mean, there aren't instruments there we can say are valid for measuring that. And honestly, this is Brenda Talent's opinion. It looks like they're trying to water it down. I mean, part of me is going like, okay, so you're going to assign a grade for school climate. Are you going to average the performance in the school climate? And they're like, it's a wonderful place to be, but the academics are really bad. I mean, Is that supposed to make us feel good?
Right. Is it harder now to keep kids' attention with all the distractions, all the stimulus that's around each kid once they're out of school, and maybe even while they're in school? Is it harder now to keep their attention than it used to be?
Well, I think that's part of the reason we saw the bill last year where they said, basically check your cell phones at the door, right? Because we do know these little devices that we hold in our hands are very distracting. Some of the things on it are highly addictive. And so I do think that's a problem. Part of, again, when you talk about parents, is for them to help their children develop attention spans that are, longer than 10 seconds. And I do think some of these devices and media get us used to, very quick changing, if you will, imagery, thoughts, whatever. But again, we can combat that, and we can combat that by the classroom atmosphere and what's going on in the classroom.
Yeah, I come from a family of educators. My mom was a teacher in the inner city in Newark, New Jersey for, how many, 30 years, whatever. My father started in the inner city as a teacher and then moved up to a principalship in a different community. But let me tell you, it's tough being a kid when your parents are educators because they know everything that's going on. Let me see the syllabus. You know what I mean? You can't get by them at all.
Yeah, you were lucky.
Yeah, lucky in some ways and not lucky in others. But here's the thing, too, though, about and this doesn't have to do with education really, but just how to I don't know, how to present yourself. So when I was I think I was a sophomore or a junior in high school, the idiots on the football team broke into the equipment closet for the baseball team, and they stole kind of sweatshirts and socks and stuff. And I took a pair of socks. That was it. A pair of white socks that you wear under your...
Shame on you,
Well,
Vic.
it was one of the least ones. So everybody got a letter home. And on the letter home, they spelled our last name wrong. And my father would never let that happen at his school. I mean, he used to stand out in the rain if he had to and welcome each kid by name when they came to school. And he's like, well, let me call Mr. Henry. I'm going to call Mr. Henry. And I was like, oh, my God, he's going to kill me. He's going to string me up in the yard. And he started talking about it, and he goes, and you sent the letter home, and you spelled our name wrong. He started yelling at them. I was like, oh, my God, this is great. But it meant a lot to him that our last name was spelled wrong. I think if you're going to tell parents and kids what they have to do and pay attention and attention to detail, you have to do it, too.
You're absolutely right, Vic. I mean, accountability is a very important concept, and I would argue that we're lacking not only accountability but transparency in our school system, and we need more of it. And that's what the report card grades are meant to do, because it's very hard for parents to understand what's going on in the school. The executive order, from our standpoint, is really the model to follow. Let's be clear with parents about and taxpayers, by the way, about what's happening in their schools.
Exactly right. And the Show Me Institute page is great. I'm sorry, I can't remember the specific school part of the.
We have most school rankings.
Right, most school rankings.
.org, and you can find out about your school. You can find out about your school district.
Because I think that if you don't know what's going on in your kid's classroom, and I started calmly like that, Brenda, because I want to get into things that we don't want taught in school. All the gender stuff and all that stuff, and they don't tell the parents that it's coming, right? So
right.
Isn't there, or maybe the parents can get together and rotate on when each parent can sit in and watch the class, audit the class for a day, but not let the teachers know it's happening that day as a surprise, so they would have to see what they really do in classrooms. And I think that's the best way to do it.
I think we all got a hint of that during COVID when parents, could sort of peek into the classroom via the computer. But no, again, there's nothing that beats involvement and knowing what's going on. We've promoted the Parental Bill of Rights, which is transparency on, what's the performance, the finances, and the curriculum. And it's actually very disheartening when we send sunshine requests to schools or school districts and how they try to avoid providing information such as, what are you teaching? It's very disturbing, and it's we need to remind everyone that really, as you said at the beginning of this segment, it's the parents who are really in charge of their children's education, and they need to be informed.
And they have to make it, because if you don't make it comfortable for the kids to learn with, to ask them questions, then they're gonna repel it, and they're not gonna learn anything, right?
That's correct. And the other thing I would argue is I would really like to see the schools being successful in the academics, in math, in English, science. I do think that they get distracted in other areas in which it's sort of like, let's focus on doing what a school is supposed to do, the fundamentals, so that child can be successful in life.
Yeah, and with all this being said, Brenda, my parents being educators, I still can't do math at my grade level.
Oh, shame on you.
I know, it's terrible. I mean, not even hard math. Easy math I can't do in my head. All right, let's talk about something else, like eliminating the state income tax. That always sounds so great until we find out what, because you got to make up the money somewhere, right? So what's the plan from the Show Me's perspective?
Well, I mean, we have a taxpayer bill of rights also, which part of the whole formula is you got to control spending. But here's what I would say: the joint resolution that has passed the House and is now over in the Senate. We've heard a lot of fear mongering on it. Oh my gosh, the sky's falling, the sky's falling. No, actually what it does, it's really just asking Missourians, do you like this concept? The concept of we're not going to tax income. And to the extent that we have additional revenues or the extent that we tax new services, that money is going to be used solely for reducing the income tax. And then when you read the thing, if it passes, if Missourians say yes, actually, if the legislature did nothing, again, if revenues increase above a certain level, the income tax would be ratcheted down. It's a very measured plan in that regard. There are safeguards there. I've heard people throwing out, these astronomical figures about what kind of hole we're going to blow in our budget. And the answer is no. There's nothing about that amendment that does that. What it contemplates is that there will be a discussion by our legislature, because I think we've talked about this before. The economy has changed. When we had sales tax first put in place, the economy was one based upon the sale of tangible personal property. It's changed now. We are a service industry. And one of the things we have to consider as we modernize our taxing system is, are there things that we ought to be taxing that we shouldn't? And by the way, other states are doing this because the economy is different. And I think that's a very important conversation to have. But when people say, oh, this means our sales tax rate is going to go through the roof. No, it doesn't, because guess what? Our elected representatives actually have to come up with a plan. And I don't know if you've noticed this, Vic, but I've noticed this. They listen to their constituents. So I don't really see them suddenly pivoting and imposing an astronomical sales tax or something like that on us, because guess what? We would run them out of town.
Do we look at other states who don't have income tax, like Florida and Tennessee? Do we look to see how they're doing it and get tips from them, or are we just going the way we're going to do it?
You would hope so.
Yeah.
You would hope they would look at it. You would hope they'd look at Arkansas, which is trying to reduce their income tax, Iowa. I mean, there are a number of states that are on this bandwagon to reduce their income tax. And it's because you're taxing the production of income. You are disincentivizing businesses and individuals from being entrepreneurial. And you really, as a state, if you want to attract businesses, you want to attract families, you need to change those incentives. You get, when you tax something, you get less of it. Yeah. And we've seen that in Missouri.
So I know the senator is a huge NBA fan. Is he watching the NCAA tournament? Did you watch the Billikens win last night?
Vic, well, I'm pretty sure he didn't last night because he was working on some stuff that has to do with national security, those kind of things. But I haven't asked him about college basketball. I just keep hearing about the NBA. But honestly, Vic, sometimes when he's watching those sports shows,
yeah, you're out, right?
I'm not there.
You're at the other end of the house. Awesome. He's awesome. You're awesome. Brenda Talent, CEO of the Show Me Institute. Thank you so much for coming to visit.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
You got it. Boy, so much to talk about. And we went from school to state income tax, a lot going on. at the Show Me Institute. All right, let's go warm up the microphones for Commander Connors. He's coming in next. Oh, turn this up, man. Turn this up. Zoot Suit Riot, right? Is this Zoot Suit Riot? On 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, number one for live and local conservative talk.
News Talk STL. Always streaming on your smart speaker, our mobile app, or newstalkstl.com.
Looking for your perfect country escape? Or maybe it's time to sell your horse property or farm? Meet Gina Parmentier with RealtyNet Service Realtors. As a second-generation broker with 29 years of experience, Gina specializes in horse properties, farms, and rural real estate throughout Franklin County and the surrounding St. Louis area. Whether buying or selling, Gina knows the land, and she knows how to get results. Call 314-504-5409. That's 314-504-5409. RealtyNet Service Realtors, where country living meets expert service.
State Freedom Caucus Unfiltered, Sunday nights at 7 on News Talk STL. Hear all the behind-the-scenes stories about what the State Freedom Caucus is doing across the country, directly from the legislators and the people that are doing it. State Freedom Caucus Unfiltered, this Sunday night at 7 with your host, Tim Jones. State Freedom Caucus Unfiltered, now Sunday nights at 7 on News Talk STL.
This is the time of the year most of us are checking off our holiday gift list. Identity thieves have lists too, and your personal information might be on that list. Protect your identity with LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every single second and alerts you to the threats you could miss yourself. If your identity is stolen, your own U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to work to fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Make this season about joy, not identity theft, with LifeLock. Save up to 40% off your first year at LifeLock.com with the promo code BECK. Terms apply.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
All the information I need on the drive to work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. I keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis is number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Credence Clearwater Revival. Good morning, everybody. It's a Friday morning, and every Friday at this time we talk to Commander Collins. I always say Collins. Why do I say Collins? I don't like the commander.
You're gonna lose the job.
If I say Larry, I'll say Connors. If I say Commander, I'll say Collins for some reason.
Oh, I thought you were saying I was a con man.
Well, you are.
Yeah,
but it's not your last name. All right, so Larry.
Yes, sir.
Let's start with the news.
Oh, this is unbelievable. Never thought I'd say it.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck Norris has died
at 80 years old.
86.
I thought that, Chuck Connors scared death away.
You know what? There are so many jokes about Chuck Norris. I was at one time invited down to be a part of the Glenn Beck show, and they do it in an old building which they shoot movies and so forth and sitcoms, and I was assigned the dressing room, and on the door it said Chuck Norris. I said, all right, I got it made here now. Yeah, but Chuck Norris, I mean, he had they had that roundhouse kick that he ran into nothing and kicked it and said, get a job.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the guy was really tough, really, and it's going to be a loss, but some point, that's the way God intended things.
You got some background or anything?
Oh, you know what? May I just share some of the?
I would love for you.
You would love some of these jokes about this guy that we've all heard. When he did a roundhouse kick into a coal mine, turned it into a diamond.
That's a sharp kick.
That's it. I mean, and he once. Let Let me see. The Mission Impossible was originally set in his house, by the way. He uses pepper spray to season his meat. That's
so
Chuck
funny.
Norris.
That's
Come
so
on,
funny.
man.
He calls the rooster and tells the rooster when to crow.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, he said, if you ask Chuck Norris what time it is, he always says 10 seconds till or 2 seconds to. And you ask 2 seconds to what? And the roundhouse kicks you in the face.
Right, before he gets the word out of his mouth. Boy, this is really sad news.
Yeah, it is. But, I mean, you know, I didn't know if it even been in failing health of any extent. Hadn't seen anything on it. But, I mean, the guy was just a legend in so many different ways.
And I don't know how long he lived, but do you remember Jack LaLanne?
Yeah, yep.
Exercise
And the working
guy?
out, yeah.
He may still be alive for all I know. But I remember being a kid and watching him, and he'd do the exercise, and he'd say, "Beginners, stop!" And then the people that were into the show more would continue. But he's another one that I thought would never die. And Chuck Norris, I don't know why. All the jokes that you read, well, Chuck's going to live forever.
Oh,
then.
I mean, and speaking about working out with weights, when Chuck worked out with weights, the weights got in better shape.
Larry, that is awesome. I'm so sorry. to hear.
Yeah, it's such a shame, but he's going to be remembered and honored in many ways. And the legend of Chuck Norris will never go away. I mean, never.
So now, is he going to replace St. Peter at the pearly gates?
I'll leave that up to Jesus.
I didn't want. Yeah, all right. I didn't want to go up any higher up the food chain there, but
he may get up there and find some people that shouldn't be in there and kick them out.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Hey, you belong in hell. Get the hell out of here. I didn't mean to say that both times.
You did.
All right. So this story upsets me. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, when she was President Trump's press secretary,
Right.
was out to dinner at some place called the Red Hen or something like
right.
that. And they kicked her out because she worked for Donald Trump.
Well, there were a lot of people rallying around and bothering her and her family, and I never got the full story. I don't know if they kicked her out, but because she was there, that they decided to leave, or maybe they were encouraged to leave, that, we can't do business here. More people coming in and causing problems. So rather than making the people that were causing the problems get them out, it ended up that she and her family left.
And either way, people need to, they need to be allowed
That's
to
good
sit.
God. I mean, especially somewhere with your kids.
So that was D.C., though. That was, they're a bunch of crazy liberals anyway. But in her own state, where she's the governor of
Arkansas.
a pretty darn red state,
Arkansas red.
And they kicked her out? I don't.
Yeah, I mean, we still have this Trump derangement syndrome so much. I'm looking at headlines today from CNN, MSN, MS Now, or what do they call themselves, the rest of them, Politico, Axios, and every one of them finds one line that they twist and turn, like Trump is losing a lot of MAGA support because of Iran. I don't see that, and I don't think there's anything to back it up. And obviously there's some differences on how we proceed, but they just take it and twist it.
What's funny about
gently
that,
in the wind.
Larry, is Harry Enton from CNN.
Oh, yeah. I love him on
had
there.
exactly those stats. MAGA support 100%.
Yes,
and
yes.
Zero of disapprove of him.
And don't you know that CNN thinks, I wonder what they think about Harry. This is good because it shows we can be, quote, balanced. No, one segment doesn't make you balanced. You got to do it on all segments.
Right.
And there are times, it's like when we used to send a reporter, I mean, we would stress them, let's say it's an abortion rally. And I know the reporter going out is already pro-abortion. I know that. That's the one we send out. And they come back and they never even mention that there were anti-abortion protesters there as well. Mm-hmm. They just focus on that and said, why didn't you include the other side? Well, but it wasn't their event. I said, right, but turn that around. If it'd been an anti-abortion event and the pro-abortionists showed up, you would have covered it, right? That's not journalism.
If there's any good in this story, they did let them finish their meal, and they paid, and they tipped, and the guy who owned the restaurant or the manager or whatever said, "You're making people here feel uncomfortable."
Yeah.
Uncomfortable how?
Well, it's the same people that complain that I don't feel safe eating in here when I see police officers come in because they have guns.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Come on.
They have those guns to protect you, not to hurt you. That's what they don't realize.
But
I don't want to get into it too long here because we'll talk about it with Kathy KAISER. But do you know about the show called The Pit?
Yeah.
They had to have an ice episode.
Did they?
This week, and it was just so woke, and it was so bad. So
well, and of course, I'd mentioned yesterday, and I'm running a commentary on it today, that exactly what I said would happen would. Because they're so bound to destroy ice and make it rework where they can't go out and do anything, and they're all under Department of Homeland Security, so that's where they've cut off the funding. The TSA agents are also part of that, and you know that 10% this last weekend didn't show up, and they've lost already about 500, and the ones that are in place are being overworked. This is a great, perfect storm for a terrorist to get something onto a plane, because those that are there, they're tired, they're worn, they're beat down, and some smaller airports now will be closed, and in some cases, airlines are shutting down flights into those airports.
So how small of airports? Like,
well, I mean, let's say like I'm supposed to fly next month to see my brother. I'll fly into Dallas and got to catch a commuter flight over to Tyler, Texas.
Oh, so that's the Tyler maybe.
Yeah, it's a Columbia airport.
Yeah.
Right here in Missouri. They could decide we don't have people enough to staff it, and are the airlines, they cannot have stacked up delay after delay after delay, because that just means more planes, more passengers upset. And, of course, they don't want to take a chance that their plane is involved in a terrorist incident.
There's one of my wife and I's favorite stand-up comics. His name is Bobby Collins. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
I've seen that, yeah.
One of his famous things is when he flies into these small airports, he'll say, "Now leaving flight number 1 at gate number 1," because they're so small, it's crazy. Well, I don't know. I mean, and it's
yeah, I agree.
It's so frustrating because, getting back to the Sarah Sanders thing, we pick on the wrong people. Like you said, I've never heard a story about liberals being kicked out of restaurants or.
No, and if the media happened to be there, they're not going to cover it. Or if they did, they'd say they were abused by management and people around them. They couldn't do. I used to battle this all the time when the Clintons were in the White House, and I did not like any jokes or remarks against Chelsea. The girl, with all due respect, she was a child, very homely looking at that point, everything,
yeah.
But I said the children should be off limits. Now, Barron, of course, is of age where they want to go after them, but they were picking on him long before that
before
as well.
He was an adult, absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And it depends upon, again, what side of the fence you're on, whether it's okay to
it
get on
depends on what's
kids.
right.
Right.
And it's not right to pick on a child for what their parent stands for or doesn't stand for.
Amy Carter, too, I remember, had a little problem. People making fun of her, didn't they?
Yeah.
Jimmy Carter's daughter. All right.
It was a shame.
Chuck Norris, dead at 86. That's sad. What's coming up on Commander Connor's neighborhood?
The story behind the story today is I've got some background details on the making of a movie that involved Dustin Hoffman, who was really big known. He had just finished The Graduate, and he was linked with a guy called John Voight, who no one really knew, and it was the Midnight Cowboy.
Hey, I'm walking here.
Yeah, and it was that. There's a lot of issues about that. I'll come back to them.
Okay, sorry.
The movie starts in Big Spring, Texas, where I was working at the time. They use a little diner there. A lot of folks in Big Spring want to be extras. Dustin Hoffman's coming to town. We want to be in the movie. Yeah. Well, then they didn't. He never came to town.
Oh.
He never came to town. It mainly focused on John Voight, Joe Buck leaving, going to the north and meeting up with Ratso Rizzo. And you're right. When the movie came out and they saw what it involved, male prostitution and things of that nature, a lot of the town people that had signed up wanted to be in the movie. They were so embarrassed. They didn't want the movie shown in town. They didn't want it anywhere near them. And that Ratso Rizzo where he's walking across, and there had been one story, a cab driver got around a barricade and came through.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, no, I don't know if that's true.
Oh.
Because it's since been stated they let him through, and he knew it was coming, and they had one of their plants in the car, and it was not as spontaneous. But I don't care. It's still a great story.
But Dustin Hoffman didn't know that it was.
I think he did. He might have. If you buy that other part of the story, he did. But his reaction was typical New Yorkers.
Hey, I'm walking here. And that movie was rated X.
Yes,
when it
I know.
came out, right?
And that's why I say in Big Spring, Texas, we thought we were going to be in something really good with, and then, of course, as I said, Dustin Hoffman never showed up in Texas.
We don't want any of that filth in our town, right?
Well, yeah, he was in The Graduate. Mrs. Robinson, are you trying to seduce me? Didn't they realize that maybe he might be in a similar type movie going forward?
I think Midnight Cowboy went a little farther than that, though.
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Hey, I'm walking here. Larry Connor, 6 to 8 o'clock tonight. Commentary at 12:03 and 3:30 this afternoon.
Oh, you're outstanding.
Thank
and
you.
God bless everyone. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you, Larry. All right, let's get out of here. So listen, big
Commander Connor's neighborhood.
big surprise for everybody. Billikens won last night, right? Big win for them. Did you know, did anybody in this room know that Stel Ponticus had a 4-year scholarship to SLU to play basketball?
I did not know that.
I didn't either.
Did he play?
Yeah. Yeah, he played.
Yeah, he should have.
Are you
Big as
saying
he
did he
was.
play or was he a bench warmer? Is that what you're saying?
No,
what are you saying about our Stel Ponticus?
I mean, you get a scholarship like that. Of course, he, as tall as he is, and I imagine, with all due respect, Stel, I'll say the same for myself. In my youth, I was an entirely different man.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to play a little bit of sports.
So was Chuck Norris.
Now I struggle to get out of bed. And Chuck Norris story said. Larry, thank you so much.
God bless.
All right, when we come back, Stel Ponticus, we know him as Stel Babe, for our Friday. Big win for the Billikens last night on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, number one for live and local conservative talk.
On the next Larry Connors USA.
The story behind the story, the movie Midnight Cowboy shot in West Texas, and a lot of the people who were in it were embarrassed.
Larry Connors USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
I've got Dr. Michael Lewis here, West Point graduate, physician, and retired Army colonel. Is considered the world's leading expert on the use of omega-3s for traumatic brain injury and concussions. Stuart Tomp brings over 30 years of experience in the supplement industry, brought $1 billion of products to the market, and has appeared in over 6,000 media interviews worldwide, and travels internationally and teaches on health.
Stuart Tomp here, and I've come across the biggest breakthrough in personalized nutrition I've seen in 25 years.
Dr. Lewis here. For the first time, we can measure cellular and gut health. So you can start testing and stop guessing and make decisions based on real data. I'm working with world-class scientists and physicians, and what they're doing is changing everything.
You can message me at elizabeth@statmedicalllc.com. That is Elizabeth at statmedicalllc.com.
Cardinal Nation, it's time to paint the town red.
Opening day of Cardinal baseball at Busch Stadium.
And there's nothing else like it.
It's a St. Louis tradition.
Two things define St. Louis: Cardinal baseball and News Talk STL.
Play ball!
Cardinal baseball opening day, March 26th, backed by our hometown favorites, Dushan High School, Freddy's Market, and D. Gregorio's Food Products.
Cardinal baseball!
Hey, it's Susie Moore for Window World. Did you know that in just over the last 20 years, Window World of St. Louis has improved the look and thermal efficiency for over 80,000 customers in St. Louis? Plus, Window World windows come with a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. And now, Window World is offering 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. Call them today at 800-GET-WINDOWS for a free in-home, no-pressure estimate. That's Window World at 800-GET-WINDOWS. They're the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues.
Jeffco Patriot Radio.
Hey guys, Billy Crow here from Jeffco Patriot Radio. As we follow the important issues facing Jefferson County, if you want to stay informed on Jeffco politics, especially in this all-important midterm election year, make sure to tune in this and every Sunday at high noon here on News Talk STL.
Jeffco Patriot Radio.
If it's a big story in Jefferson County, you'll hear about it on Jeffco Patriot Radio. Sundays at noon on News Talk STL.
She's black, flesh and bone.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome to our Friday. I'm Vic Porcelli. Cole sitting in for Ken today. And on the phone with us, a Billiken, the one and only. Stell, babe, you must be happy this morning.
I'm telling you, Vic, that was quite a game last night. And to say the least, I'm pretty excited this morning. Although Michigan is going to be a formidable opponent on Saturday.
There's no doubt. And Georgia should have been. Georgia should have been a formidable opponent, but they weren't.
I think it was one of those games where SLU almost did everything right last night. And to be honest with you, Georgia almost did everything wrong. They had a really flat game. They're a quality team in the SEC. They had the most dunks of any team in the NCAA this year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's an odd stat. They just could not get untracked at all. And I give the Billiken defense a lot of credit for not only the game plan that they had last night, but the fact that they were able to shut down Georgia, and they also put an offense in that worked really well against Georgia's defense. So I give the coaches credit. The ball players did a great job of putting together what was really a solid game last night. Hopefully they can have a similar game on Saturday against Michigan.
And Michigan, number one seed in that region. So I think the problem, Stell, in the Atlantic 10 final game was the passing for SLU. The passes were really sloppy, and last night the passes were crisp and good and clean, and that's, I think, was the difference to me watching it.
I agree with you, and ironically, I had one of my buddies from the Chicago area text me during the day. I'm sorry, no, it was during the game last night, and he was watching how well they were passing and looking at Avila getting some really nice passes in underneath. And he asked me, so who was SLU's best passer ever? And I said, H. Waldman was the best passer that I think SLU ever had, who played during the Spoonball years when Charlie Spoonhour was the coach of the team. So it's really tough to narrow it down. By the way, let me correct. I was not on a 4-year scholarship. That's misinformation.
I'm sorry. What's the
That's
real?
okay.
What's the real information?
I was a walk-on, and
wow.
I played a couple of years as a walk-on, 71 and 72. That was way back in the day. That was prehistoric, probably, for most of the folks who were listening.
The Jurassic
But it was,
period of basketball.
Back when Jimmy Irving, Harry Rogers, folks are going to recognize some of those names from back in the day. Some really good players for SLU, and really enjoyed being on the team back then. But I was not that good to get a scholarship. But I came to St. Louis U to major in meteorology, and basketball
What the
somehow
hell?
snuck in there. Yeah.
So you were going to be a weatherman?
I was. I loved weather from when I was a kid. And unfortunately, mathematics killed me by my junior year. So I had to change majors.
I was just mentioning to Brenda Talent this morning, I can't do math at my grade level because I just can't.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that's bad. All right, so 102-77 was the final score. I thought that, this kid, Avila, is just he's such an enigma, When I first saw him, I was like, who is this big goofy kid with the goggles on? But he, A10 player of the year, and last night he had some awesome moves and some great passes, and I think people are really starting to come alive. Now listen, Stell, I know you remember this. In 1989, I was living in New Jersey, and Seton Hall University, which was about 8 or 10 miles from where I lived, made it to the NCAA final game against Michigan, oddly enough, and I never thought they beat Duke that year in the course of the tournament. I hope SLU can have one of those Cinderella magical tournaments.
That would be great. And I couldn't. To be honest with you, looking at the teams that are in their bracket, I could see them possibly putting together a run of games where they could actually surprise a lot of folks, including me. So that would be awesome if they could do that.
That's great. Where were the games at SLU when you were there?
I played at the old arena, believe it or not, at the old barn.
Well, that's
so it was 71, 72. In fact, our boss, Jeff Lawhorn, has a photo in his office that's framed of the arena when SLU played Missouri, if I remember correctly. You know, back in the day, we used to play Missouri and Illinois almost every year.
Wow.
And you hardly see that anymore. But that photo that he has, I do remember that game. I believe that was in '71 against Missouri at the old barn
Yeah.
on Oakland Avenue.
You know, you mentioned Charlie Spoonhour. He was coach when I first got here to St. Louis, and I'm driving on Highway 40, and there's this billboard, and it says spoon ball, and there's this great big spoon on the. I was like, what in the hell is this? But he was really fun to watch just as a coach.
Oh, he was awesome. You know, when they brought him in from, oh boy, he came from Southwest Missouri State. What was it called? Now it's called Missouri State, I guess. Back then it was Southwest Missouri State down in Springfield. I was so excited. I was calling people that morning going, I can't believe it. Charlie Spoonhour is coming to SLU. And, you know, some of my friends thought, well, you know, okay, we'll see how it goes. He was awesome. He did such a great job coaching the team. It was so much fun to watch them. They had, well, look at the lineup that they had with Erwin Claggett and Scotty Highmark,
Oh, my
H.
God.
Waldman.
Scotty Highmark. I remember him. He was great.
Boy, he had some great teams back then, and it was so much fun to watch them. And to be honest with you, Josh Schertz has a similar type of feel to the team. It almost feels like you're watching Spoonball 2.0 when you get a chance to watch the Billikens.
You know, Mike Ramsey. Is that his name, Mike Ramsey?
Bob Ramsey,
Bob Ramsey.
yeah.
So sorry. Bob Ramsey doing the play-by-play. Back in the day, I would listen to the Billikens on the radio, and I think the kid's name was Justin Love. Do you remember that kid?
Sure, yes.
And when he would make a basket, Ramsey would say, "That's amore." I was like, "That's great."
Yeah, he has great nicknames for a lot of the players. And what a great guy Rammer is. He's been doing play-by-play, I think, for 40 plus years, along with Earl Austin Jr. doing the commentary. So they're a great team.
Yeah, and I think they're both great. And I like Rammer as a play-by-play guy, and I just like him as a human. He's just a really good guy. He was always good to me whenever I had any interaction with him. So, Mick, speaking of nicknames, let's run through some of the nicknames for Robbie Avila, shall we?
Sure.
the one that's number one on the list, Cream Abdul-Jabbar.
Cream Abdul, yes, indeed.
Larry Nerd instead of Larry Bird. College Jokic.
Yes.
And I think that's because he's such a great passer for a big guy, right? Like Jokic is.
Yes, he is a very good passer. Yes.
There's another Larry one here. Larry Blurred. So we got Larry Nerd and Larry Blurred. You know, we had a bird, a parrot at my house years ago, and he was a parrot. He was green, so we named him Larry Bird. Ken loves that. Rob Wave. I don't get that one.
Rob Wave. Yes, indeed.
My favorite music artist is Rod Wave. So I got one earlier that was Rob. All right, we'll take it. Milk Chamberlain. I like that.
Yes.
And Steve Blurry instead of Steve Curry.
Instead of Steph Curry. Yes, Steve Blurry.
Curry, yeah. So, you know, I don't know. He's fun to watch. I've never seen a guy that big be that consistent with three-point shots, right?
Yes.
And I think that
he's a great outside shooter. He's got not just more I guess you would say ability than you expect, but he's a great shooter, and he's got good footwork. I remember back in the day, speaking of Michigan, they had a player by the name of Robert Traylor, I believe was his name, and they called him Tractor Trailer.
I love that.
And the kid was huge. He was, 6'9", 6'10", maybe 270, something like that. But he had quick feet. And, man, he could move around under the basket. And you would watch him play, and you'd be shocked at some of the shots that he was able to get off underneath the basket. But that's a talent. That's a God-given talent where you can move around like that. And Avila's a very talented guy. And the whole team is very unselfish, which is really a hallmark, I think, of where the team is at, where they love to pass. They don't care who scores. They've got 8 or 9 players that average, 8 to 10 points a game, maybe 12 points a game, but they don't care who scores on any play.
I love that. And I love that you said they're a very unselfish team because unselfish teams win, okay? And you'll remember this because you're actually older than me still. I can't believe there's somebody here that's older. But the 1969-70 Knicks, New York Knicks, who
Yes.
won the championship against the Lakers. I mean, I could still reel off the starting lineup. It was Dick Barnett, number 12 at guard, Walt Frazier, number 10 at guard, Willis Reed, number 19 at center, Dave DeBusschere,
Yes.
number 22 at forward, and Bill Bradley, who later went on to be a senator, number 24. But
Yeah, that
they
was a
were
great team.
very unselfish team. They were just all about defense and getting the shot that wasn't necessarily a long shot, high percentage shots. And I really do think, even though SLU has great 3-point shooters, I think, I don't know. I just think that they're a good team. So just very quickly, Stel, in 1989, I was living in New Jersey, and Seton Hall University somehow made it to the final game against Michigan in the NCAA tournament. And we all went to my friend's house, and we all watched it. I smoked like 8 packs of cigarettes that night. And it was, I couldn't believe they went that far. There was some kind of magic. And there's some kind of magic in this team, and Avila, obviously, right on top of that list. What if they make this great run to the final game, Stel?
Oh, that would be awesome if they make it to the Final Four. I believe 1957 was the last time SLU was in the Sweet 16. And back then, you kind of automatically made the Sweet 16 because I think only 16 teams were in the tournament back then. So you were automatically in the Sweet 16 because you had conference winners going to the tournament. And back then, the NIT was probably bigger than the NCAA. So things have changed a lot since 1957. But this would be awesome to see them at least get somewhere into the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight. That would be great.
Yeah. The NIT used to be the tournament before. So you're right.
Yes.
Before the NCAA took over. And I can't believe that the NIT was the tournament. And the finals of the NIT were always at Madison Square Garden. So I was always up and hip to that. So big win for the Billikens, 102-77. Stel, can you explain what exactly a Billiken is?
Well, I had always understood that it was like an Eskimo type of god kind of thing up in Alaska, and I've heard different stories off and on over the years. But that's the main one that I had heard from back in the day was somehow or another it got attached to St. Louis U, and if I tell you any more of the story, I'd have to kill you.
Oh my God, I don't want that.
No, it is kind of an interesting story. For me, growing up in Chicago, believe it or not, there's a Billiken Day up in Chicago where they have some type of celebration with a parade and everything. And I don't remember it very well from when I was a kid, but supposedly they have a Billiken Day up there. No relation at all to anything tied with SLU necessarily.
Well, why don't we have one here?
That's true. We should have a Billiken Day parade, etc. Yeah, that would be great.
Makes no sense. Makes no sense.
So let me say one other thing here before we wrap up. This game against Michigan, Michigan has not just a great team, but their coach is a very good coach who came from Florida Atlantic. They hired him a couple of years ago after Florida Atlantic made it to the Final Four, if I remember correctly. So they're 31-3, and Coach Schertz and Dusty May, the coach of Michigan, are very good friends. So you know what this is like when you're going up against somebody who's a very good friend of yours, who's a coach of another team.
Love that.
It's going to be a good matchup.
And they're riding the momentum of Schertz signing the long-term contract. This is great. I hope he's around for a while. I really like him. Stel, get better, will you? We miss you so much around here, I got to tell you.
I miss you guys too. Yes, indeed.
All right. Thanks for being with us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on. Let's go Bills.
Go Bills! That's Stel, babe. Stel Ponticus, who is just a good guy. Worked with Stel many years. And good guy, always polite, always knows his stuff. And he played basketball at SLU. That just knocked me out when I heard that this morning. I never played any college sports. I got cut from the baseball team. That's how depressing my college life was. But I got on the radio. Yeah, that's great. All right, listen, when we get back, we'll dig into a couple of these big stories going on nationally on 101.9 and 94.1. News Talk STL, #1 for live and local conservative talk.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Looking for a hardware store that treats you like family? Welcome to True Value Schneider's Hardware, your local gem in Old Town St. Peters. For over 100 years, we're proudly serve you St. Charles County, providing everything from lawn and garden supplies to plumbing and electrical. Need a bolt or fastener? We've got you covered. And don't forget, we're a steel dealership. Whether you need sales, parts, or service, ask for Charlie or Jerry when you come in. We're here to help. Call 636-278-4461 or visit us online at truevalue.com/Schneiders.
Hey, it's Chris Arps. Becky and I recently discovered a restaurant that's quickly become one of our go-to restaurants, Timothy's in Creve Coeur. Led by executive chef Will Mabry, Timothy serves contemporary American cuisine with a touch of Southern charm. Dishes like pastrami, smoked lamb, and shrimp and grits. My wife absolutely loved the lobster pot pie, and everything we've tried has been incredible. Amazing house-made desserts and over 500 wines to choose from. Enjoy dinner 7 nights a week, plus lunch, brunch, and private events. Timothy's in Creve Coeur at 12710 Olive Boulevard or online at timothysstl.com.
1 in 4 women will have an abortion before the age of 45 in this country. That's the tragedy we must work to stop. Mike Ferguson from The Morning Show here, and that is why Reach Reproductive Health is here, to empower parents to save the lives of innocent children and to see these families come to Christ. And you can be a part of saving and changing lives. So pray and visit outreachforlife.org to learn more, volunteer, and donate. That's outreachforlife.org.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at
NewstalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Spoken like a true terrorist, Iran's military is warning that parks, recreational areas, and tourist destinations worldwide will not be safe for enemies of the Islamic Republic. Quoting an unnamed official, the AP reports the U.S. will be deploying 3 more warships, roughly 2,500 more Marines, to the Middle East. President Trump says before the war, advisors had warned him of higher energy prices.
They said, if I do that, oil prices will go up, the economy will go down a little bit. I thought it would be worse. Much worse, actually. I thought there was a chance it could be much worse. It's not bad, and it's going to be over with pretty soon.
Prices of the gas pump have risen another 3 cents since yesterday. AAA's national average, $3.91 a gallon. The U.S. Mint is gearing up to produce a Trump commemorative coin, and naturally it's going to be a gold coin.
A federal arts commission stacked with Trump supporters who were appointed by him earlier this year approved the final design for a 24-karat gold commemorative coin bearing Donald Trump's image. Federal law says no living president can appear on U.S. currency, but an official at the Mint said the Treasury Secretary has authority to authorize the minting. The coin will be released in connection with America's 250th birthday this summer. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Extreme heat continues gripping the Southwest as spring arrives today. The intense heat expected to persist right through the weekend. He was a martial arts grand master and a TV and movie action star. Chuck Norris has died. He was 86. His family says Norris died yesterday. It's described as a sudden passing. Stocks are in the red on Wall Street. The Dow is down 268 points, the Nasdaq off 290 points, and the S&P trading 61 points in the red. More on these stories, townhall.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0141. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141. Tax Relief Advocates.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Meteorologist Chance Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking highs towards mid-80s this afternoon, mostly sunny skies. Saturday, sunny and 81 degrees. Will continue to rise into Sunday, 87, partly sunny. Going to see an increase in our winds. Could see some wind gusts up to the mid 30-mile-per-hour range. Then into Monday, a little bit of a cool down thanks to a cold front passing. Highs towards the upper 50s. Will continue to rise throughout the rest of the week with more chances of showers by Thursday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Scotch.
Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Hour number 2 of our 3-hour tour put together by Cole today, who's in for Ken. How are you, baby?
Doing great.
Cole, it's going great, man, okay? You look nervous over there. Don't be nervous. It's just radio. It's not brain surgery or any kind of stuff like that, right? It's just fun. Radio's fun. Okay, so coming up later this hour, what are you watching with our friend Kathy KAISER from Fox 2? And I've got something to tell her about The Pit. Jesse and I watched The Pit. How do you not watch a show about a hospital when you live with a nurse? She's my translation dictionary too. What does that mean? What medicine is that? And she explains it to me, and she's got her thoughts about the whole show, and it went totally woke this week. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's the truth. Miller time at 10:41, and then Chris Cooper's coming in next hour, and then we'll wrap it up with the chat box and the wheel of audio clips. All right now, I want to talk about President Trump with the Prime Minister of Japan in the Oval Office yesterday. And, the great thing about President Trump is he truly is one of us, Even though he's a billionaire, he's still somehow a regular guy. And he was asked a question about the attack on Iran and why was it a surprise, and he had the answer to a press question of the century.
Of course, Japan and U.S. are very good friends, but one question, why didn't you tell U.S. allies in Europe and Asia, like Japan, about the war before attacking Iran? So we are very confused about we Japanese citizens.
Well, one thing you don't want to signal too much, when we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay? Right? He's asking me, no, you believe in surprise, I think much more so than us. And we had to surprise him, and we did. And because of that surprise, we knocked out, the first 2 days, we probably knocked out 50% of what and much more than we anticipated doing. So if I go and tell everybody about it, there's no longer a surprise.
Everything you said there is so 100% true. Japan, you want to talk about surprises? Okay. What about Pearl Harbor? And, this guy, I think he was a Japanese journalist who was traveling with the Prime Minister of Japan. And it was a stupid question. It really was. I mean, we're in a war here, okay? Or whatever you want to call it. We can't have everybody knowing what's going on because then it's an ineffective campaign. So why didn't you tell us about, where you're going to attack? And he's like, really? Anybody that knows about surprises, it's Japan. You didn't tell us about Pearl Harbor. And this is not something new, by the way. during the Persian Gulf War, there was a general that was in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, I think the town was called, and he did a press conference every day at 11 o'clock Eastern. I was living in Eastern. I was living in New Jersey at the time. And General Kelly would do a press conference every day. And one of the people in the pool asked when and where we'll attack Iran. And he's like, really? They have TVs in Iraq, right? They can watch it and they can see what you're saying and what you're asking and what my answer is going to be. So it's not something new. It's just stupid questions from the press, even the Japanese press, who asked, why didn't you tell us about that? Why didn't we just tell Iran we were going to attack? So Japan's support in this whole operation we're in right now, the president said we've had tremendous support and our relationship with Japan is solid.
We're going to be speaking about it today. We've had tremendous support and relationship with Japan on everything. And I believe that based on statements that were given to us yesterday, the day before yesterday, having to do with Japan, they are really stepping up to the plate. Yes.
So there you go. I mean, I think the Prime Minister of Japan and the president get along really well. I think they really like each other, and I think that they will be a great ally for us now and in the future. But just don't tell your press not to ask stupid military questions. Okay, just do me that favor. So, the new Ayatollah Jr. We don't know. Reports were he was in a coma and he lost his leg. Then it was like, no, he's not. Like, we're going to believe anything that Iran puts out anyway. So then they were like, oh, yeah? Well, Netanyahu's dead. Yup, got him. He's dead. Uh-huh. And no, he's not. And Netanyahu appeared for the first time in person at a press conference since rumors circulated about his death. So here's a weird thing as we move on in technology. Back in the day, if there was something going on where somebody was missing or somebody was being held or any sort of, military thing, the proof of life was that person take the person's picture as they hold a newspaper, and the newspaper would have today's date on it, so you knew that they were alive, holding the newspaper with today's date on it. Well, you can't do that anymore because they can AI anything. They can AI I'm holding anything. A Declaration of Independence. Look, I was alive in 1776. So, technology's not all great, I guess. But Netanyahu is good. He's alive. He says, I'm alive. You're all witnesses. A little joke at the press conference. I want to close these opening remarks with one other fake news, and that is that Israel somehow dragged the U.S. into a conflict with Iran. Does anyone really think that someone can tell President Trump what to do? Come on, Trump always makes his decisions based on what's best for America. And Benjamin Netanyahu will make decisions on what's best for Israel. And, Israel's our ally there, and there's all Jew-hating going on in the country. And, we're going to be there for Israel. And they, you know what? Well, we're not going to need them, but they will be there for us if we need them. Maybe we will need them. I've gone through this story a couple of times. Let's just go through it again. Are you an Olympics fan, Cole? You like the Olympics? In 1972, the Olympics were in Munich, Germany. And they called them Arab terrorists, broke into the Olympic Village somehow and found the Israeli Olympic team and murdered them all on a helicopter. Put them in a helicopter. They threw a hand grenade in there and blew up the entire. I mean, it wasn't a massive team like the United States sends. And so here's why maybe we will use, the Mossad or some sort of secret fighting force that Israel has. So there's this movie I want you to watch. If I tell you to watch a movie, will you watch it? You promise? All right. It's called Munich. And it's a Steven Spielberg movie. It's not like it's some little movie. But it's called Munich, and it's all about the story I just told you. But it's about how Israel sent secret agent forces in to find every one of those terrorists. And they got almost all of them. And the other one, I think, was put on trial. But, Israel's been been a target and a victim of so many people out there in the Mideast. And, our friend Karen Cataline is, she's sensitive to the whole situation. So here's some more news from Benjamin Netanyahu. He says that there is no longer any uranium enrichment happening in Iran. He says we're winning, and Iran is being decimated. What we're destroying now are the factories that produce the components to make these missiles and to make the nuclear weapons that they're trying to produce so that they won't be able to do that anymore. It's up to the Iranian people to show that, to choose the moment and to rise up. Because some of these, Afghanistan and all these countries out there in the Mideast, they look like they've been doing this for thousands of years, right? Dressing the way they dress, treating women the way they treat women. And before 1979 to the present is where all this Islamic stuff happened in Iran. They used to be a regular old democracy, and women wore skirts and tank tops and had beautiful hair, and now you can't even see them anymore because of, Islam. And you've heard Ken talk about it over and over again, and Ken is such a great expert on Islam, on what they're trying to do and what they really are, not a religion. But people don't really understand that. Free Palestine, that whole thing. So we'll see what happens with that. All right. Cole, can you get number 7 out of your little bag of audio there? This is FBI Director Kash Patel talking about, just laying out some of the stats of the FBI's historic first year under President Trump.
Under the Trump administration, this FBI has literally had a historic year. We have 112% increase in violent offenders arrested last year alone, a 20% decrease in homicides, 20% decrease in robberies. We have disrupted 1,800 criminal gangs. That's a 210% increase. We've seized enough fentanyl to kill 178 million Americans. That's a 31% increase. We have gone after the most vulnerable in our society, protecting children, a 490% increase in arrests on those that prey on our children online. We have located, found, and identified 6,200 missing kids. That's a 30% increase. We have dismantled and taken down 1,700 child predators. That's a 17% increase. And those that wish to traffic our young American citizens and women, 300 human traffickers have been arrested. That's a 15% increase. And seven of the FBI's top 10 most wanted fugitives in the world have been apprehended in the last 13 months. To put that into perspective, there was 4 in the prior 4 years. So this FBI under President Trump is fully stocked to get after every single fight we have, and these are just some of the statistics. So I thank you for letting me highlight those.
So the FBI, obviously a big upgrade from under Biden and certainly under Obama. And, people make fun of Kash Patel because his eyes are funny, and I'm like, really? That makes you a good or bad FBI director if your eyes are funny or not? And, and the most important stat there, if all those stats he gave were the children, the missing children that they're finding alive and sending them back to their parents. I thought kids were always the most important thing. Well, guess what? I was wrong because, I don't know. I'll never understand the liberal mindset. Okay, so Chuck Norris died. So I thought we might have some fun. That was terrible. Chuck Norris died. Let's have some fun. I mean, he's dead. I can't bring him back. And I didn't make up the Chuck Norris jokes. You people did. All of you. America. The world. So let's run through. Did you like Chuck Norris? Did you know Chuck Norris?
Of course.
Walker, Texas Ranger, right? Big show.
Yeah.
He was a martial arts guy. He was doing commercials. Actually, they're going to have to pull these commercials now about whatever it is that makes him fit and whatever. They're going to have to pull those. But he was so fierce that there are jokes about Chuck Norris about every possible topic, right? Counting. Chuck Norris counted to infinity twice. Strength. When Chuck Norris does push-ups, he pushes the earth down. Well, that explains gravity, doesn't it?
It's true.
Fearless. The boogeyman checks his closet for Chuck Norris. The boogeyman when he was a kid. Mom! Chuck Norris is in my closet under my bed. Unstoppable. Chuck Norris can slam a revolving door. Presence. Chuck Norris does not sleep, He waits. Logic. He can divide by 0. Legendary. When God said, "Let there be light," Chuck Norris said, "Say please." No, make him light. Nature. He once bit a cobra, resulting in the snake's death after 5 days of pain. Vision. Chuck Norris can drown a fish. Impact. He destroyed the periodic table as he only recognizes the element of surprise. And technology. His computer has no backspace button because he never makes mistakes. You know, Chuck Norris, I'm not the physical type, you know. I was in very few fights in my life, and I didn't start any of them. But Chuck Norris, these MMA guys, right? They can, like, kick you in the leg and break your knee, you know? When I was a kid, we'd go on the playground and we'd fight, fist fight. You usually get a black eye, you get a broken nose, you're hitting the jaw. And now they'll, like, rip your arm out of the socket and, you know? Do you know any of that stuff? Are you a fighter?
Not really.
You take MMA lessons or anything like that?
No.
No self-defense?
No.
And the thing about any of that self-defense stuff is that you use it in defense. You don't, that's why they call it self-defense. You don't start a fight, you finish a fight if you have to. So do you know who Sophie Cunningham is?
I've heard the name, but
She plays basketball in the WNBA with Caitlin Clark. And Caitlin Clark has spent so far 2 years in WNBA, year and a half really, because she was hurt and out for most of last season. But for her first season, nobody protected her. And the WNBA, nobody paid attention to until Caitlin Clark showed up. And then they got Sophie Cunningham from the Phoenix team, whatever they're called. Phoenix Mercury, I think. And then she became Caitlin Clark's protector. And there was a game against the Connecticut Sun, and this girl poked Caitlin Clark in the eye, and Sophie waited. She was patient. And then this girl went for a layup, and Sophie just tackled her and threw her to the ground. So this girl has no idea, as none of us did, that Sophie Cunningham is a black belt in karate and taekwondo. So she gets up, and Sophie grabs her by the back of the head, back of the neck, and just held her there, and the girl wasn't able to move. And then we find out, oh, yeah, well, Sophie's got a black belt, so maybe you shouldn't mess with her. So anyway, self-defense is something that you use when you have to, not when you want to, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And Chuck Norris, of course, was great at that. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to tell you I was a big fan of Texas Ranger, Walker, Texas Ranger, whatever that show was called. But you can't avoid the jokes and everything about him that made him so tougher than who knows, maybe tougher than he actually is. I just found another few Norris jokes. Chuck Norris doesn't read books. He stares them down until he gets the information he wants. Time waits for no man, unless the man is Chuck Norris. If you spell Chuck Norris in Scrabble, you win forever. You don't have to play ever again. You win. Chuck Norris breathes air 5 times a day. The flu gets a Chuck Norris shot every year. Oh, my God. That is great. In the beginning, there was nothing. Then Chuck Norris roundhouse kicked nothing and told it to go get a job. When God said, "Let there be light," Chuck Norris said, "Say please." We said that one before. Chuck Norris has a mug of nails instead of coffee in the morning. If Chuck Norris were to travel to an alternate dimension in which there was another Chuck Norris and they'd both fight, they would both win because they're both Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris fears cure cancer. Too bad he has never cried. See, when he cries. Chuck Norris once roundhouse kicked someone so hard that his foot broke the speed of light. That sucks that Chuck Norris is dead at the age of 86. All right, give me some music, Cole, and get me the heck out of here. And when we come back, we will play What Are You Watching with our great friend. Oh, God, can you make this loud? I love this song so much. Stell, babe, turn me on to this song. Isn't that a great guitar riff right there? Missouri's tax future, competitiveness, reforms, and proposed policies. The Hammond Institute and News Talk STL present the Vice President of State Tax Policy for the Tax Foundation, Manishbat. That's Wednesday, March 25th. That's coming up this Wednesday, 6:30 to 7:30, Lindenwood at the Scheidegger Center. Need information, go to NewstalkSTL.com. Kathy KAISER, what are you watching is next. So, the storms are coming. It's springtime today's the first day of spring, I believe, isn't it? I thought it was like the 21st or 22nd. Turns out it's the 20th. So the spring storms will accompany spring, of course. And when those storms come, whether they're tornadoes or just storms or lightning, thunder, wind, all that stuff, it could affect your home. And you might not know it because how long, honestly, remember in Shawshank when Shawshank Redemption, when Morgan Freeman says, I mean, after all, how often do you look at a man's shoes? Well, how often do you look at your roof? Same exact thing, except you don't have to climb a ladder to see somebody's shoes. So they'll go up and they'll check, and you'll get an honest estimate on what may be wrong or what may not be wrong. There's not always something wrong. When they do find out there's something wrong, they'll get up there and they'll do quality work. Kathy will call you because they also have great customer service after their work. Emergency storm repairs, always. Be sure you go to their website and find out more and get in touch with them that way at ConnerRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common-sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on NewstalkSTL. And you can visit us at INHSTL.com. That's INHSTL.com.
Concerned about the condition of your windows driving up your energy bills? I was too. It's only called STL Windows and Doors. Their Provia windows combine old world craftsmanship the professional way, the Provia way, with over 65 years of combined experience, locally owned, offering competitive pricing and personalized service that the big box companies can't match. Call today for your free in-home estimate and start saving tomorrow. 314-277-5952 or stlwindowsanddoors.com.
Now, the Free Market Minute, brought to you by the Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise at Lindenwood University.
Hi, it's Mike Ferguson from The Morning Show, and I'm here with Dr. Grant Black. And Grant, capitalism, that is increasingly under attack. But why is a free market system so important?
The simple answer, society is much better off because of free markets. Free markets allow individuals and business owners to freely choose what to consume, how to save, where to live and do business, what to produce, and how to protect our valuable resources, and so much more. And this can all happen without requiring heavy government interference. In a nutshell, free markets empower people to live their lives the way they choose. And this makes all our lives better.
The John W. Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise at Lindenwood University fosters and examines market-oriented approaches to economic and social issues. To learn more, visit hammondinstitute.org.
News Talk STL. If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Wherever I'm at, home, car, wherever.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Just the convenience on the phone.
Streaming live on the mobile app.
Love the new app.
And listen anytime.
Everywhere.
Anywhere.
Crap I learned in high school. When this song was new, 1973, 74, and we heard the word crap on the radio, we all freaked out. Wow, you can curse on the radio now. Not really. All right, it's a Friday. Coming up the rest of the way today, it's Miller time at 10:41. Chris Cooper from Serenity Wealth Management is going to join us today. I always love when Chris comes in. Chat box and wheel of audio clips right now. What are you watching? What are you watching? That's my Chris. What are you watching?
What are you watching?
Well, what are you watching?
What are you watching? What are you watching?
So I got a haircut. I don't know if you noticed.
I did notice. Looks very nice.
Yeah, thank you. And I was talking to. It's so funny how we called this segment "What Are You Watching," because you and I have known each other pretty much for
a long
years.
time,
and we never really got to do this on any other station that I was at. So this is fun. So in the middle of the haircut, I told her everything because she is the best. Her name is Kathy Cardwell, and she's got a grandson who is like in second or third grade. And one time she cut my hair, and my hair's white. And she took a picture of all the white hair on the floor and told her grandson, "I cut Santa's hair today."
Oh,
but he got
so
mad.
Sweet. Oh,
you cut all the magic out.
Oh, oh no!
I think he's forgiven her though.
Oh.
But anyway, I asked her, "What are you watching?" It's just it's part of the vernacular now.
Absolutely.
In America, the phrase "What are you watching?" All right, what are we going to talk about? And then let's run through them.
We're going to talk about Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. We're going to talk about Project Hail Mary. We're going to talk about Imperfect Women on Apple TV, and then we're going to talk about The Madison on Paramount Plus.
Okay, so many things to say here. Ready or Not, I missed Ready or Not 1.
Yes.
So what was the basic premise of that?
Same premise. Somebody's going to kill this woman, maybe her significant other is going to go after her, right? Uh-huh. But this time, all the families that are part of the satanic cult locally are going to try to kill her, and then her sister comes back, so they're going to go after both of them.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
It got 2 out of 5 popcorns.
No good.
No, God, it was hard to sit through. It literally was. It was sad.
It's funny that, I don't know why, Ready or Not, Here I Come, reminded me of Now You See Me.
Yes.
They blew the best opportunity for the name of a sequel because the second movie should have been called Now You Don't.
Right.
And let us figure it out.
Right. Yes, I love that.
Why didn't they do that?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So this is the big movie, Ryan Gosling, Project Hail Mary. What's going on?
Oh, it's so good.
Is it? Wait,
yes.
It is? Yeah?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. 4.5 out of 5 popcorns. Everybody's going to the theater this weekend to see it. Not just because I love Ryan Gosling, but he plays a professor who's a middle school science teacher that the world comes for because he's really good in molecular structure stuff. And it's a novel. It's based on a novel. And he's going to save us because the earth is dying. The sun is dying, right? And we have to save the earth. And we have to save everyone here. Well, when he goes out in outer space, even though he's not an astronaut, which is the funny part in the movie, like, you can't send me, I'm not an astronaut,
so funny,
right?
yeah.
Which you've seen in a million of the trailers, so I'm not giving too much away. He literally meets an alien. And the alien that he meets is super cool. And
Is he on the Earth when he meets the alien?
No. He's in outer space.
Okay.
But this alien is trying to save his planet too.
Oh.
Because the sun is dying, right?
Oh,
All the
that's so
planets
funny.
are going to die. But he is so good in this role and being the not, if you don't laugh. I love Tim and Barbie, Ryan Gosling, right? I still want that fur coat he wore. The cardigan sweater he wears in this movie, I loved even more. I'm
great.
like, oh my God.
That is awesome.
Yeah, no, he is fantastic. The movie is fantastic. And like I said, you got to go to the theater this weekend and see it.
Don't push me around. You hear me? So
Date night. I keep telling you, perfect date night with your wife.
Maybe she hates the movies.
Oh, all right, fine.
So Ryan Gosling, he hosted Saturday Night Live, not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before that.
Right. And got upstaged by
Harry
Styles.
And he was all about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's
right.
what I love about him is he's so playful and he's so much fun. And he's trying to do the monologue going, is that Harry Styles? And then the whole thing became about Harry. And then there was a split screen between Harry Styles and him. And he goes, can we get rid of the split screen? And they got rid of him and just had Harry Styles on there.
Right, right.
And they did another sketch that was, I can watch Saturday Night Live as long as they're just fun things about life, right?
Right, right.
So there was one sketch where it's a classroom, and Ashley Padilla is the teacher, and Ryan Gosling is the principal.
Okay.
And are you kids passing notes? Well, let me see that note. And then they would read the notes. Except the thing is that they switched it on them, and the notes they're reading were not the same notes they read in rehearsal.
Oh no!
So
Okay, so
everything
they're
was-
taking right.
I'm totally laughing through it. So
Oh
it
God,
was
oh,
kinda
it's fantastic. Well, he was also on Jimmy Fallon, talking about the movie, doing his press tour, and they brought his wife out. Now he and Ava Mendez.
Oh,
right?
I didn't even know they were
Yes. And she has been doing no interviews. She's just been raising their two beautiful little girls and doing her thing. And it was her birthday. And he had them go back and get her and bring her out. And you can tell she's not really all dressed up or anything. But it was so cute. I'm like, oh, my God, he genuinely loves her. Like, not that he shouldn't genuinely love her. I'm
supposed
just
to genuinely
saying.
love your wife.
No. But what I'm trying to say is he's just so genuine. You love him, right? He's just that kind of guy.
And he's funny.
And he's funny. And he's maybe a little cute. I don't know. Maybe.
Did you see the? All right, don't objectify men, will you? No, I'm just kidding. But did you see the sketch on Saturday Night Live a couple of years ago when him and somebody else were Beavis and Butthead?
Yes.
Oh my God, that was hysterical.
Hilarious.
All right, so popcorns,
Hilarious.
lots of popcorns.
Popcorns, 4.5 out of 5. And the only reason why I didn't get a 5, it's 2 hours and 36 minutes. It's a little long, and parts of it towards the end got a little redundant. But what I will also say, like I told you earlier, since he is the producer, a lot of times the movies get longer when the producer is the actor, the producer is or the actor's the director, because you can't cut anything because you need that, right?
Yeah.
And I could have helped him out just a little.
Oh, he should have called.
Right, he should have called.
And then
I could have helped him, right?
Have you ever given 5 out of 5?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Can
I have.
Can you name one off the top of your
Oh,
head?
gosh.
No, it's okay. I don't want to put you on the spot.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Streaming on Apple TV, which I guess I won't be able to see. Imperfect Women.
Right.
What's that
Kerry
about?
Washington, Elizabeth Moss, Kate Mara. It's a very contrived whodunit type situation. One of those women dies, and they're all best friends, and we're trying to figure out what happened. Maybe the woman who dies is having an affair. Maybe maybe one of the other women is in love with the woman who dies' husband. Who knows, right? It's so contrived and
it's contrived?
oh my God. I'm like, I can barely make it through.
I thought it was great. A murder mystery.
No. 2.5 out of 5 popcorns. And I love Apple TV, and their shows are always so top notch. It made me sad. But then your favorite, Paramount Plus.
Why is it my favorite?
Well, because it has a lot of Taylor Sheridan
Yeah, it
stuff
does. Okay.
on
Yep.
it.
Got it. Yep.
Okay. Well, he's doing this too, and he wrote this, and it's called The Madison. It popped last week. We got 3 episodes, and then Sunday we're going to get 3 more. And it's Michelle Pfeiffer and Kurt Russell.
Oh.
It's so good.
I love Kurt Russell.
So good. And he is so good in it. You'll know from the first part of the equation that someone meets with their demise, and then someone else is going to have to move on through the process, right? Or what are you going to do with your life, right? But it's filmed in Montana. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I am like, the visuals of everything are my deal, right?
Cinematography, sure.
Right. Which we had a woman win first time in 97 years.
How about that?
Yes, for cinematography at the Oscars. So, yeah, no, it's fantastic. Everybody needs to tune in this week and check out The Madison, and you should too.
Taylor Sheridan, love him.
Yes.
How many popcorns?
That one got 4.5 out of 5
That's
too.
a lot of popcorn.
Exactly.
All right, so
what are you watching?
I need to. Thank you for asking. I am behind on DTF St. Louis, and I'm not upset about it because I'm upset about that they made this show supposedly in St. Louis, and there's nothing St. Louis about it.
No.
Not even the names of the station.
No.
No arch.
Who doesn't know we're K's, not
Right.
W's?
We're K's. Good catch.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
Well, let me explain that.
Okay.
So all radio stations and TV stations east of the Mississippi River, their call letters start with a W, and then all radio stations and TVs west of the Mississippi start with a K.
There you go.
So,
And the fact that we didn't do enough research to put St. Louis in the name of something and not know that part of the equation?
So stupid.
Dear God.
It's so stupid.
And you can't fake the arch. I mean, even if they would have come here and did a couple scenes literally here, it would have been more believable.
Or name it Atlanta. Name
Exactly.
it DTF Atlanta. That's where they filmed it, right?
I'm like, and why did they name it St. Louis?
Right. So stupid.
Exactly.
Anyway, but I will watch it.
Okay.
But I'm up to date now on The Pit.
Yes.
emergency room in Pittsburgh, and my wife is a nurse.
Yes.
So she's my translator.
Are they doing okay as far as she's concerned with that?
Well, yeah. As far as the names of stuff, absolutely. But she also says she doesn't think there's an emergency room in America that's as busy as that ER and the craziness.
Well, of course not, right?
And she also said, why isn't there more gunshot wounds?
Oh, oh gosh.
Well, it's
okay.
It's in a city.
Right.
That's city life right now is gunshots. Right? Our city.
Right.
Right?
Oh, absolutely. I was in Barnes emergency room about a decade ago, and I was told I was going to have to wait because they just brought in a gunshot victim.
So that's one thing she said. Also, she said because there was a hospice situation that she said would not happen in the ER. They would put it in another part of the hospital.
Right.
I think Noah Wiley's great.
Mm-hmm. He's getting award after award after award.
I think the rest of the staff is great. Cast. The rest of the cast is great. One of the girls is Bryan Cranston's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She's great. But then, Kathy, I got to tell you.
Okay, here we go.
I'm just being honest, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Went totally woke.
Oh.
With ice.
Oh. Okay.
We
had to put that in there, huh?
They had to. And their timing was terrible because ice is not an issue right now anywhere. You're not hearing all the stories we heard back then.
They wrote it a few months back, and here we are.
So you got to redo it then. If you want to be topical, you want to really, truly be topical, rewrite it.
Right.
So, patients were leaving the hospital. Nurses were leaving the hospital because maybe they were undocumented, as they like to call it, when it's actually illegal. And it was really woke, and it really pissed me off, Kathy. I got to tell you.
Noah, why did you do that?
No. He is the producer, isn't he?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Of that show.
Mm-hmm.
And he won an Actors Award?
He won lots of Actors Awards, Critic Choice Awards. He won I believe, a Golden Globe. He won a Actors Award, which is what used to be the SAG Awards, Screen Actors Guild. Yeah. He's been taking them home.
Yeah, he's
from
good.
His portrayal, and he's really good.
Yeah,
he is really good. The ensemble cast won a couple awards as well. So.
And when you watch it, if you're up to date and there's no more episodes to watch, you know how these streaming services kind of suggest something else for you,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it's ER. So ER comes on.
Go watch reruns.
George Clooney as a baby.
Oh,
Noah Wiley as a baby.
Right, right.
My wife loved that show when it was on. And I love watching it with her because I'm like, what's that disease? What's that medicine?
Right.
This isn't giving away any of the plot, but this one guy, he's in the ER, and he dislocated his elbow, and he's a Pirates fan. His name is Roberto.
Oh, nice.
And
okay.
He talks to the young doctor, and he goes, after Roberto Clemente. And the kid's like, I don't know who Roberto Clemente is.
Oh,
and
no.
Oh, yeah. And then I was like, you're kidding me. Hall of Fame right fielder for the Pirates. And it takes place in Pittsburgh. And they had to pop his elbow back.
And
he didn't want to use any drugs. He just wanted to get it over with and get out of there. And he screamed so loud. So there's some good parts.
Very realistic.
In some ways.
Okay.
Yeah, my wife says yes in some ways. She's not going to give it.
I'm going to have to catch up now.
5 out of 5 popcorns because they went woke.
No.
Kathy, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thursday.
9 and noon.
9 and noon. Thanks for coming in here instead of being on TV. We appreciate you.
All good.
All right. So what are you watching?
What are you watching?
All right. Hey, you know what? Cole, you know what? It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? So we'll come back and we'll do Miller Time. See what I did there? 5 o'clock Miller Time. On a Friday on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Kathy, by the way, I want you to know you don't have to run out of here when you're done. You know, you can hang out if you want to hang out. I mean, you don't have to hang out. If you want to hang out, you can. Hey, you know who's coming by a little bit later, too? Next hour, Chris Cooper, our great friend, and the guy who will have a conversation with you. I think that's the most important part of him, because some of these financial wealth places, you open the door and Lurch answers the door and goes, right over there. And it's not like that at Serenity. It's like a living room. It looks like a living room. There's a couch, there's a mantle, there's a fireplace, there's a portrait of Kramer from Seinfeld on the wall. It's you got to have some fun, and he does. As a matter of fact, he has some fun with finance, from what I understand. Every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, the radio show's called Serenity Wealth Now, and there's 2 books you should get for free from Chris. Tax-free strategies for long-term care and the new holistic retirement. You can get them both at SerenityNowTax.com. That's SerenityNowTax.com. Serenity Now! It's Chris Cooper.
Colombo and Company. Join us every day for conversations with a wide variety of guests as we keep you informed and up to speed on all the important news and headlines you need to know.
Live and local, weekdays at 2 on NewstalkSTL.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors.
Serenity now!
42% of Missouri fourth graders can barely read. 42%. It's the worst result in 20 years. If kids can't read by third grade, they fall behind in school, and many never catch up. But other states have provided a roadmap for success. Missouri needs one universal reading test for all third graders and one clear statewide standard for what it means to pass that test. A struggling reader who still can't read after extra help and a second chance at the test should repeat third grade with some exemptions. We also need to end the outdated 3Qing method, which encourages guessing instead of reading, and require teachers to be trained in the science of reading. In Mississippi and Indiana, test scores jumped up dramatically after these reforms, and Missouri can do the same. Missouri children deserve to become confident, capable readers, and strong early literacy reforms can make it happen. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by the Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
If you love your pet, which I know you do, then they deserve the excellent treatment and care they'll receive at Pacific Animal Hospital in Pacific, Missouri, a full-service veterinarian facility. Originally built and grown by my dad, Dr. Bill Jones, a new generation of wonderful veterinarians and staff at Pacific continue to provide outstanding medical, surgical, dental, boarding, and grooming services for your favorite furry friends. Our family entrusts the care of our pets only to the experienced docs and staff at Pacific Animal Hospital. You should too. Call them today, 636-257-2100, 24/7 at PacificVets.com, PacificVets.com.
This is Larry Connors, and my favorite sandwich at Capriati's is a Philly cheesesteak with peppers. Sweet peppers, but sometimes hot peppers. I love Capriati's, and so will you.
Open 9 to 9 daily on Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill.
Fox News commentary with Jimmy Fallon next.
Need life insurance but have diabetes, high blood pressure, or on anxiety meds? If you're a 50-year-old male, even porky, or with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of life insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. For affordable term life insurance, call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013, 800-444-2013, or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. 800-444-2013.
Here's Jimmy Fallon.
You want to know what's bad in Hollywood? Yeah, they're alienating their audience. AI is coming. They're putting the Oscars on YouTube next year. So this is the beginning of the end, but the only way they can kind of recover if they really wanted to is to just go back to being Hollywood. Stars. Do you remember Stars? They were different than us. It was a big deal. If you saw it in the wild, it's okay to have a power dynamic. It's okay for some people to have it better than others, or be taller or shorter or richer or poorer. Okay, it's just called life. They pretend for a living when they're on camera, and that's what pays the bills. But the fact that they're pretending when they're off camera is what's driving away the audience. Because unfortunately, the audience didn't sign up to pretend at all. They just wanted to watch the damn movie, and instead they're sitting through a political rally instead.
For more commentary like this, go to foxnewspodcast.com.
All right, welcome to Friday on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. I'm Vic Porcelli. Cole is in today. Cole, what's your last name? I'm sorry.
Brereton.
Brereton?
Yeah.
What's the origin of that name?
I'm going to be honest, I don't know.
You don't know your family's heritage?
Not on my dad's side.
No,
On my mom's side.
Just say you're Italian because you're marrying an Italian, so just go with that.
I'm Italian.
There you go. I'm Italian. All right, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, Cole. It's Miller time.
Welcome to Miller Time.
It's Miller time. Miller time. Miller Miller time.
I'll say it again. That is an amazing piece of production there by Ken Williams, who obviously is not here today. He's with his family, spending some time. Family over me.
Oh.
What crap is that, Kathy?
Can you believe it?
I asked Kathy to stick around because nobody chases you out of here.
No. I'm done with my segment. I usually head out. I very much appreciate you asking me to stay.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, really fun.
All right, so Stephen Miller, who is the Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, we all know him. Have you ever seen Stephen Miller's wife?
I have not.
She is just like him, talks just like him. Have you ever noticed Stephen Miller never says the word when he talks?
No, never.
He's really good.
He's very good.
And here he's talking about the American military. You can get rid of that now, Cole. Thank you so much. Here he's talking about the American military objective is to neuter the regime. That's great wording there. In Iran.
The American military objective is to neuter the regime, to render them impotent. That is what President Trump is doing. Day by day, the regime is being rendered impotent in terms of being able to wield instruments of national power against the world. Ultimately, the Iranian people will have to decide for themselves what kind of future they want. But President Trump will not allow this regime, this bloodlusting regime, to hold us hostage with energy blackmail, missile blackmail, or nuclear blackmail. Not going to happen.
Stephen Miller is the best person to be speaking for President Trump right now.
Absolutely.
Because he
Agreed.
is so eloquent and educated and smart. And, you know, we talk about movies. We never get to talk about anything else.
Right.
And you don't ask a woman how old she is, so I would never do that to you, Kathy Kaiser.
Yes.
But I will say that only since 1979 has Iran been this crazy Islamic country.
Right.
Before that, they were a regular country like us. The women were in mini skirts and are hot and,
right.
you know, have beautiful hair.
Right.
And they were with tank tops and things. And now you can't even see them anymore.
No, just their eyes.
So you're a woman.
Yes. Thank
Sorry.
you for noticing.
I didn't,
Okay.
I meant perspective-wise.
Right.
You're a woman.
Right. Yes.
People in this country, they cheer for socialism and they cheer for Sharia law.
Mm-hmm.
Do women not know how badly women are treated in these Islamic countries?
Absolutely, they know.
Then why do they cheer for it?
I don't have a clue. I really don't have a clue. I mean, feminism has been in the United States of America for a very long time.
And where are they now?
Exactly.
Where are they now?
Exactly.
Sticking up for women. Gloria Steinem. Is she
Right.
alive or is she dead?
I believe she's still here. I'd have to look it up.
I don't know.
Really know. I'm not sure.
But it just makes me crazy how, and people who want to, you know.
Do you think it's because they hate our president so much they're just not willing to veer from that?
Well, it's been 47 years.
Right.
Nobody said, hey, let's put a stop to this until Trump. So maybe, but in a backwards kind of way.
Right.
Like if Trump didn't go after them, maybe they wouldn't be so fierce about it. But, you know, if you want to stick up for Iran, stick up for the Iranian people.
Right.
Not the regime.
No, for the people themselves, especially the women. I love that perspective.
And in New York, you know, their communist mayor, the example I always use is Kim Jong-un had his own uncle taken out back and shot. So what makes you think there's anything in communism for you?
Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean, I'm not a genius by far.
Right.
But I know that communism kills a lot of people. And
absolutely.
The big guy lives in the mansion and you live in the street. I know it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but, you know. All right. I'm getting thirsty again, Cole. Give me a Miller.
Miller time.
The bottom line is that our capabilities are so far beyond anyone else's in the world, as we've seen with Midnight Hammer, as we've seen with Absolute Resolve, and as we're seeing now with Epic Fury. It's very important that nobody in the United States be gaslit by the Iranian propaganda. The IRGC has been crushed. Their leadership is dying. Their ability to project their power is waning by the day. Their command structure is being ripped apart. Their infrastructure is being steadily eroded. They are being turned into a weaker and weaker and weaker power every single day. That is the story that needs to get told.
Sorry. thought I had time to cough there, and I didn't. So you know what I love? The names of operations. Operation Midnight Hammer.
Which is exactly what it was.
Exactly.
Right?
And Epic Fury. Because we're not screwing around here.
Nope.
Those bunker busters that, go so deep into... what civilization lives underground, by the way? What kind of people who call themselves humans
right.
live and
We've
work?
evolved beyond that.
We have. A few million years ago, we got out of that. But not in some of these Islamic countries. And I always loved Operation Desert Shield and Operation Desert Storm.
Right.
That was my first real exposure from a broadcast point of view about war. I was working at a rock station in New Jersey, and Operation Desert Storm breaks out. And I was like, oh, my God. So we had a U.S. representative in New Jersey, representative named Zimmer, I think. Richard Zimmer was his name.
Believe so.
And we got deep into the weeds into war and war terms
right.
and stuff, And Operation Desert Storm, I guess it was when it was SHIELD and not Storm yet, but we found out that our soldiers and our military people didn't even have paper to write home to mom on. So we did a paper drive. Bring some paper, people, reams of paper. Companies who fired people brought their letterhead so they could turn them over.
Right.
But they I was on the New York News for that because we put together this thing for and there was something else we did. I can't remember. Oh, we used to do a feature called Operation Desert Heroes, where we'd have soldiers or Marines or anybody in the military from New Jersey come in and pick records. We let them play whatever they wanted to play, and we had this kid in there one day, and his name was Andy. I'll never forget. His name was Andy, and on the same day, Jim Kerr from Simple Minds, the singer for Simple Minds, was going to come in for an interview. And I was like, oh, my God, if anybody is going to bitch about war or soldiers, it's going to be a rock star, right?
Right.
So I said, come on, Andy, let's go meet Jim Kerr. Let's hope this goes good. So we went out, and the limo pulled up, and Jim Kerr got out. And I said, hi, Jim, I'm Vic. This is Andy. He just came back from Afghanistan. Oh, way to go, mate. We all support you. I was like, oh, my God, this is great. So he got to meet Jim Kerr, who liked him.
Awesome.
And,
yes.
And it was great.
Yes.
So that's our military, Kathy. Yeah, I think
And you do the same thing here for our military.
Yes, I do. I try.
Yes, you do. You do.
I never served.
Right.
And I take it too far, maybe. I don't know. But I will not even ever salute. Fooling around. I won't salute because I have not earned that right.
Right.
To salute.
Right.
And our Vic for Vets is a great feature. I appreciate that. All right, Cole, let's squeeze one more in here, shall we? This is about President Trump establishing a very clear and very focused campaign against Iran. Give me a Miller.
Miller time.
You can see from the military campaign what the United States focus has been on. Under President Trump, we have eliminated the Iranian Navy, we've eliminated the Iranian military, we have eliminated the Iranian missile launchers increasingly more and more. We've gone after their defense production capability, their ability to produce drones, their ability to produce missiles, their ability to threaten the world. So President Trump has outlined an extremely clear military plan and military objectives, just like we took out the military targets and the military infrastructure on Karg Island. And the president was clear in the attack on Karg Island what the objectives were and what the objectives were not. At the end of the day, this mission that President Trump has established is very clear and very focused on eliminating the Iranian threat to the United States and to the world, preventing that regime from being able to strike and kill Americans anywhere in the world.
If anybody doesn't think Iran should be, at least the regime, eliminated and back to normal, then you don't understand what's going on.
In the world.
Right?
Right.
Then, all right, that's
right.
Miller time. That's it. All right, Kathy, thanks for hanging out for a little bit
thank
longer.
you for keeping me a little while longer.
I have to have you relinquish the microphone for
All
Chris
right,
Cooper, who's
fine.
in next.
We love Chris.
So don't run out every Friday. You run out of here like we're saying, we don't want any Kathy Kaisers in the
All
room.
right, I will stick around as long as you'll have me.
You got it. And we'll see you next week as far as movies go.
All right,
Thank
sounds
you.
good.
All right, I'll give Kathy Kaiser 5 out of 5 popcorns. How about that? Does that work? So one thing I forgot to mention here throughout the day, how much time we have here? Like 30 seconds? No, maybe we don't have time for it, and we'll do it in a little bit. But Sarah Sanders, the governor of Arkansas, was in an Arkansas restaurant having lunch, and the manager, the owner, comes over and says, you know what? Some of our staff you're making them a little, what's the word, triggered? Is that the word that the generation uses? And they made her leave. I mean, she already ate and paid and tipped, by the way, but she was not. She's the governor. And I never see that happen the other way. I know I'm biased. I know I'm a hack. I don't see liberals getting thrown out of restaurants by conservatives. I just don't. All right, speaking of Chris Cooper, which we just did from Serenity Wealth Management, he's going to join us next for a Friday visit on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Bunny Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Bunny Radio every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeBunnyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Trump continues to berate NATO allies for their refusal to join the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran.
You can see from the military campaign what the United States focus has been on. Under President Trump, we have eliminated the Iranian Navy, we've eliminated the Iranian military, we have eliminated the Iranian missile launchers increasingly more and more. We've gone after their defense production capability, their ability to produce drones, their ability to produce missiles, their ability to threaten the world. So President Trump has outlined an extremely clear military plan and military objectives, just like we took out the military targets and the military infrastructure on Karg Island. The president was clear in the attack on Karg Island what the objectives were and what the objectives were not. At the end of the day, this mission that President Trump has established is very clear and very focused on eliminating the Iranian threat to the United States and to the world, preventing that regime from being able to strike and kill Americans anywhere in the world.
Available for Ukraine in the 5th year of Russia's full-scale invasion, bickering over a major $106 billion EU loan to cover Kyiv's military and economic needs for 2 years has reflected the mounting challenges. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Americans are adjusting their plans to keep up with rising gas prices. People like Sandra Long, who lives in Dallas.
Gas prices is extremely high. It makes you not want to travel for spring break. I had planned on going someplace, but I was like, the gas is just too high. I might as well just kind of stay at home and do something around town. The
national average for a regular gallon of gas was $3.88 on Thursday. AAA says that's up nearly $1 compared to a month ago, nearly 80 cents compared to the same point last year. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Have you noticed losing weight is harder than it used to be? You're eating better and exercising, but the scale barely moves? The real problem isn't willpower, it's metabolic dysfunction. And standard dieting just makes it worse. PhD Weight Loss has helped thousands fix the root cause of stubborn weight. Take their free metabolic assessment at fixmyweightloss.com. Fixmyweightloss.com. It's quick, personalized, and shows why your body is resisting weight loss so you know exactly what to fix. Visit fixmyweightloss.com. That's fixmyweightloss.com.
Americans have a big healthcare problem. Over 100 million citizens carry medical debt while paying for overpriced and complicated health insurance. As Christians, we don't have to pay for a broken system. Christian Healthcare Ministries is an alternative to health insurance at half the cost. Plus, you can enroll at any time. Stand up to health insurance with a biblical solution. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Your business moves fast. PRI Global keeps it moving smarter for almost 30 years, delivering top tech talent to help companies grow stronger, custom applications, simplifying your operations, securing your data, modernizing your business from the cloud up. And with Prismatic, you're going to get real-time insights, automated workflows, people, process, platform. PRI Global delivers all three. PRIGlobal.com.
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
I'm trying just to get to second base. Baseball, baseball.
In 1998, my opening day special was added to the archives of the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown.
I'm not here to talk about the past.
Sunday morning, you'll hear the 2026 updated version of that show.
Pujols is giving St. Louis the lead.
We will have great baseball insights.
It's going to be a tough test. Anytime you're on the road, you're not at home.
JC's opening day special, Sunday morning, 7 to 9.
It's more than a rebellion. When your teen is slipping into drugs or alcohol, when social media and pornography consume their time and their mind, when depression and even suicidal thoughts cast a shadow over your home, as a parent, you feel powerless. There is hope. At Turnabout Ranch, troubled teens step away from the chaos and into a clarity of nature on a working cattle ranch. Care for horses, learn responsibility, build trust, and rediscover purpose. It isn't theory, it's real work, real therapy, real healing. Families from across the country have found transformation right here, just when they thought hope was gone. If your teen is struggling with addiction, harmful online behaviors, even weight management, call right now and get the help you all need.
800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. That's 800-219-2494.
Hi, I'm Rodney Wallner.
And I'm Jen Wallner with the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway.
Hey, Jen, how do you sell your home for top dollar?
That's easy. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What if I want a flexible commission plan?
Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What's the best time to sell your home?
Right now, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
For all your real estate needs, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
That's 314-810-SOLD.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by the Trolley Stop Bakery, the official bakery of the Vic Porcelli Show. Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me? Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Chuck Norris died, everybody. People are making jokes,
He had his great jokes when he was alive, so that's got to continue on, right?
He would want it that way.
That's right.
I got to tell you, when I go, I don't want a bunch of crying, sobbing crap. Just tell jokes.
Yeah.
That's how Vic wanted it.
Yeah.
See, that's what Vic wanted. That's Chris Cooper, everybody.
How we doing?
From Serenity Wealth Management. We're doing great.
I heard that news while I was at the gym this morning, and I'm going, wow, I knew I felt stronger today.
He's given us all a little bit of strength.
Yeah.
We all feel a little
leveled up a
stronger.
little bit,
Leveled up. The jokes are just amazing. I used to watch Texas Ranger to see if Chuck Norris would kick the bad guy in the face. Then you turn off TV, you're done.
It's so the first thing that I did when he passed away, I was like, oh man, that's terrible. But then the next thing I did, I was like, oh my gosh, there's going to be so many great Chuck Norris jokes right now.
Absolutely.
It's going to be great.
Taking over for St. Peter at the Pearly Gate, right?
Oh,
That's his
nice.
job now.
That's great.
That's mine. I want all credit for that. And now we find out that Mean Joe Green has passed away.
That's really fresh. Like we just heard about that 2 seconds, like 2 minutes ago.
Pittsburgh Steelers defensive end, I think he was. And that very famous commercial with the little kid with was it Coke? It was Coke, right?
Threw his jersey at him, didn't he?
Yeah, I gave the kid the jersey because he gave him the bottle of Coke. Hey, kid turns around. Here.
I think that was the nicest thing he ever did, right?
Probably.
Mean
He's
Joe.
mean. Why would he do anything nice? He was mean. All right, Chris Cooper, our great friend from Serenity Wealth Management. Everything good up there?
Everything's great. Yeah,
How's
I got big
Stacey doing?
shoes to fill, right? I mean, you guys had Kathy KAISER on just a second ago talking about movies and entertainment. I'm like, man, there's a lot going on. I got to follow up here.
Well, you up for it?
I'm going to try.
Up to the
you know,
challenge?
I'm going to do what I can.
Well, what movies have you seen this week?
Oh, boy.
None, right? So forget it.
Well, we got basketball going on right now.
Oh, my God,
So,
go Pelicans.
Yeah, how about that? They looked really good last night.
I love it.
Yeah.
And the announcers did not want them to win.
No, Chuck was not happy. Barkley
Chuck?
was not happy.
Oh,
yeah.
I-
He's like,
oh, that messed up his-
I can't say I can't talk like he does. He's got that cool. You can probably do one impression of him.
I don't know.
No,
I
can't
don't
do it.
I don't
Well,
know.
he's
I
got
would need a
He's very
catchphrase.
distinct, right, in how he talks. But he's like, oh, they're gonna lose. I'm like,
They're
man,
gonna lose.
Yeah. You know, I was like, no, I don't think they are. And
You know what
they
pisses me off?
Whomped them.
So there's three people at the desk there. There's Barkley, some guy in the middle. I don't know who the hell he is. The other guy talks basketball and talks with the bros and talks like a bro. And then he's also the co-host of CBS News in the morning.
Yeah.
Where he's supposed to be serious and ask serious questions.
Yeah.
I don't think you're supposed to pull that off, right?
Yeah.
I always said Katie Couric would be a terrible anchor of the CBS Evening News because when she was on the Today Show, she would go torch sing in a bar. You know, she'd skate at Rockefeller Center and then I'm supposed to take you seriously, and she failed, and I called it, and I was right. Okay, so. You had Diane Wood on your show.
Not yet. She's coming up here real soon,
You have
though.
Diane Wood coming
yes,
up on your
she
show.
is coming up, so it's really exciting. So right now she's listening while she's baking really good stuff. So she brought in some treats, which she always brings in treats here, too.
Always.
I got to tell you, my office has never smelled so good. I was just, wow, this is amazing. I didn't have to leave the studio. Usually I get, because, you know, it gets hot in there when you're, like, talking all the time, right?
Yeah.
And
That's
so I
hot
was
air.
like, man, yeah.
Yep.
It was great. So it was a lot of fun. So we're going to have her. She's actually going to be on Easter Sunday.
Oh, that's
So,
great.
Yeah, so she's a lot of fun.
So now the most important question I have to ask you is, did she talk about me?
Of course she talked
Okay,
about
I'm
you.
just checking. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, how can we not talk about
I'm a
you?
little paranoid, you know. I don't know.
You are a little paranoid. You don't have Ken here to thundersteel either today.
That's true. I do not.
So you should be feeling okay, though.
Cole does not thundersteel at
Yeah.
all.
Do I have to today? Is that because you've accused me of thunderstealing at times as well?
I have?
Yeah, you have. And it's been.
When
I
have I accused you of?
I have done it. So it's not. It's. I'm guilty. So it's okay.
Guilty as charged. All right. So, listen. I don't know if you know, but I read your commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I've heard.
I always say the difference between going to visit you and going to visit another, wealth management place where riffraff opens the door and goes, perhaps you better come inside. Or lurch. It's not like that.
No, we try to have some fun. We it's myself and my wife. So you're
How
gonna
is
get
Stacey?
greeted. Great. She has to put up with me every day, but other than that, can't complain.
Got it.
So no, we have a very family feel. It is 100% intentional. We want people to feel comfortable. We're talking about things that matter. We're talking about money. We're talking about financial future. We're talking about, can you retire? We're talking about things like, hey, do I need to be concerned about long-term care? My parents went through it. We're talking about some serious things like, hey, I feel like I pay too much in my tax bill. What can I do there? And these are big things. We need to think about them. And so we want to make sure people feel very confident, very comfortable, and leave our office with a little bit of clarity as well.
I love that you say the retirement that you deserve.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well,
'cause
thank
we've,
you.
We've worked. We deserve.
We work
retirement.
really, really hard, and we try to save really, really well as well, right? So we need to make sure that our savings is working for us. We want to make sure we can enjoy that lifestyle, not just today, but into the future as well. That includes travel. That's why on our radio show, we talk about life. We talk about, and I interview a lot of local business owners. Diana's coming up, like I said, on Easter. But we've had travel agents on. We talk about travel. We talk about enjoying what we've got going on. This weekend, we have a wonderful story talking with a gentleman that started his own food truck company. Now he's going to be part of the local series that's going to be featured at Busch Stadium, right behind home plate. I'm like, this is super cool. So I get the wonderful opportunity to talk to a ton of business owners. It's one of the things I get to do every single day, and I get to share their stories on our radio show and bring the listeners in, which is so fun because that's what it's all about. It's just having those fun conversations.
Boy, it really is. I got to tell you. And when you feel comfortable, because one thing that I know for a fact is that people don't really like to talk about their money.
No, people, and so I do some events from time to time. In fact, this weekend we're doing an educational thing, Women's History Month. So a group of women is getting together, and they wanted me to educate them on some financial things. So I'm like, oh, that's great. So I'm happy to do that. So we put together a little deck for them, and we're going to be doing that. And there's always just that it's a standoffish moment, right? There's people in the audience, they got their hands folded across, they don't want to let you in, because they're nervous, they're afraid. Do I have enough? What am I going to do about these things? These are big deal things that they don't want to necessarily talk about. So we need to make sure that they feel very confident, very comfortable. That's what matters. When you're working with financial professionals, you want to feel comfortable picking up that phone. You don't want to be nervous when the phone rings that, oh my gosh, somebody's calling me and selling me stuff. What are they selling me today? No, you should never be sold to about anything.
Yeah. I know that I don't answer the phone at all. If your name is not one of my contacts, I'm not picking it up.
Yeah.
I just can't. I don't like talking on the phone to begin with. I'm a great big bitch when it comes to that. But, when it's Chris Cooper on the phone, it'll be fun. And it's not, I don't think we should just throw away the fact that there's a portrait of Kramer from Seinfeld in your office.
Yeah.
There's a little Superman. There's a sign that says these pretzels are making me thirsty.
We did little things to subtly tie in a little bit of a Seinfeld, reference there. And that's because, I grew up watching that show, and I thought it was just really kind of funny, but, casual, low-key kind of humor, right? And so when we were talking about our company name, and we were just figuring out what we wanted to name our company, I kept saying peace of mind, tranquility, but that's not it. That's weird. I don't want to say that. And it's something more serene, though, kind of like Serenity something. And then all of a sudden somebody goes, Serenity now. I'm like, jeez, well, this meeting's over. I'm good. Like, we've got this. And so now it just rests as history, right?
For people who don't know the story, this was back in Powerhouse days, right?
Yeah.
On Union Station. And Jim says, I want you to meet Chris. And he's okay, let's meet Chris. And he's got a shirt that says Serenity Now. And
Serenity Wealth Management.
I'm sorry, Serenity Wealth Management. So I said, Chris, I can't help but think of Seinfeld and Serenity Now. And that's actually why you did it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's cool. And then it's become part of our presentation about
yeah.
what we're talking about.
Well, when I did that, once I said I was going to do a radio show, I was like, well, I need to put little Superman in the background, just kind of hanging out in the background of every episode. For those that don't know, Seinfeld, there was a little Superman statue in every single episode of that show.
Yeah.
So.
You know what? You could just have Frosted Flakes and cereal boxes, and that would be kind of Seinfeld.
My wife won't let me. She says it's not good for you. It's just empty calories. So I can't. Now I'm on oatmeal and eggs, and it's better for me. It's fine, but I do miss my cereal.
I love cereal.
It's really good.
But I love eggs, too. So this is not a commercial of any kind. It's something that my wife and I happen to stumble upon. Do you know the difference between cage-free and free-range chickens?
Do not.
Cage-free, they're not in a cage, but they're still in a room.
Okay. Yeah.
But free-range, they're just outside being chickens.
Fully. Okay, so it's exactly what I thought it would be.
Eating worms, eating grass, eating regular stuff. And there's a brand of chickens, which I think are local here, called Ben Roberts eggs. First of all, the way they package their eggs, every company should. It's in a box, not in a styrofoam thing that can make the eggs break easily. And the eggs are so much better.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Fluffier.
Yep.
My wife made me a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese sandwich last weekend, and the eggs were so fluffy. So that's what we're just going to get those now.
I
don't
get it.
drink before the show.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I don't know what to say. My wife said, I said, why do I hiccup so much? She said, well, you get a little air under your diaphragm. I'm like, excuse me, I don't wear a diaphragm. She's like, I'm out. I'm out. Not talking to you anymore. All right. So I think, again, getting back to you and your competitors, not here to, crap on anybody or pee in their cornflakes. Speaking of, but I would so rather, here's my situation. If I went to talk to one of your competitors, I'd be like afraid to say anything.
Yeah.
Because you make me so nervous in your office here, and it's not nice. It's stale. But when I go to see you, it's more like, hey, yeah, I'll have a drink, sure.
Yeah, I don't like to talk about financial statements and what's going on until I understand somebody's life, right? So to me, it's way more important to understand what someone's going on, what our goals are, what are our objectives, do we have children, when are we retiring, are we retired, what are our biggest concerns, right? Because once I understand that stuff, I've got a baseline of understanding of kind of what's important to somebody. It changes my focus on what I look at when I see the numbers that come with it, right? Because those finances have to fuel what we're doing. I say fuel our fun, right? It's important. We have to have that stuff. I need that stuff to understand what I'm doing. But at the end of the day, I want to see a lens of who a person is, who a family is, before I have an idea of what's going on in their financial sense, because it changes the definition of those words quite a bit.
We hear so many commercials on TV about gold. Oh, my God, buy gold.
Gold's the worst
Gold's
one.
been going on since the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Is gold everything it's crapped up today?
Read the fine print or listen to the fine print. When you hear a gold advertisement, notice how they all say, consult your financial advisor or financial professional before investing in any financial decision. There's a reason for that. They're not financial professionals. Okay? It's terrible.
What are they?
Great question. Brokers. They're brokers, and that's not like a licensed broker either for actual investment advice. So gold is fine, but as an investment, precious metal, silver, gold has both done very, very well in the last few years. But if you look over the course of time, it's fine. But it's not this, oh my gosh, amazing answer we should all be running to right now.
Yeah.
It's no different than anything else. It has the same volatility, ups and down, as any other investment out there. Okay, and of course, there's tons of great investments and some that went bankrupt, of course. But gold is nothing different than any other S&P 500 or other indices that you can invest in. You just got to be smart in how you do that. And I really don't like that they encourage you to take money out of your IRA and put it into your safe as a precious metal kind of commodity. It drives me insane. So much less liquid. There's plenty of ways to get exposure to precious metals and things like that by keeping money exactly where it is inside of an institution, which doesn't scare me. For any conspiracy theory out there, they're like, oh, I want my hands on this thing. I'm like, okay, that's great until your safe gets stolen.
Right.
And
you got FDIC protecting
you. I just, all that one scares me the most is the gold stuff.
So this is just you just made me think of the story for some reason. I was in Walgreens and I was online, and this kid who was behind me, there's a little shelf that has baseball cards on the top of the shelf. This kid bought like 50 packs of baseball cards.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you doing? Because I can't keep my mouth shut, so I have to say something. I said, what are you doing? He goes, I have a problem. Just leave me alone. And he just buys baseball cards until one of them's worth $1 million,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, I've seen people that'll they'll do it on like YouTube and stuff. They'll flip through them and like reveal on like I guess that's a thing. I hope they're making money off the YouTube views.
Yeah, they must.
I don't know. Maybe it's little on the cards. It's a collectible. Gold, silver are also collectibles, by the way.
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, they're collectibles, which actually has a different tax rate as well. So gains on gold, silver, still taxable, folks. But they're actually higher tax bracket on capital gains on those investment vehicles.
You know what we have to talk about one day is tax on poker players.
Taxable, yeah.
But it's different.
Yeah.
It's a different tax, I think. I'm not sure. I can't.
Well,
do
you can you can offset it with losses, but it's still taxable income.
Yeah.
So especially if you're a professional. So.
And that's the only way they make money.
That's
so,
right.
All right.
Yeah,
so
it's interesting.
Maybe one week we'll talk about
Yeah.
that. just about that. Annuities, what's the deal with annuities?
Yeah, so annuities are great vehicles for the right situation, in the right scheme. Like, there's a lot of people that dog annuities. Oh, we don't offer annuities. We don't sell annuities. You shouldn't sell anything, folks. You should offer solutions that fit people's needs. Investments fit people's needs. CDs, liquid money, bank accounts fit people's needs. Annuities fit people's needs as well. You can privatize your own pension with an annuity. It can create income that can last your lifetime, which no one knows when we're going to die, right?
It is on your schedule.
It is on the schedule, right? Chuck Norris didn't know he was passing away today.
That's right.
Right? So you need to make sure you understand your income needs, and annuities can help protect principal.
It's all over my head, and that's why.
Well, and the commercials on that are all, anti blah, blah, blah. I'm like, come on, you cannot be anti anything. It just tells me you're not licensed to do something to help somebody.
What a great quote. You shouldn't be anti anything.
No, it's just, there's a balance to the equation.
All right,
right?
Can I end this on something funny?
I love it.
George Carlin, I was a huge George Carlin fan growing up. Became less of a George Carlin fan when he became angry.
Yeah.
And we actually saw him at Westport Playhouse one time, my wife and I. And she goes, let's go. I can't. We didn't even stay.
You had to walk out on George Carlin.
Because he was so angry.
Yeah.
I saw him in 1978 at a small little theater, and that was the Where's the Blue Food comedy of George Carlin. But he has this one thing he says, again, that's where I got that. It is on your schedule. If you have if you're going to die, you should get a 2-minute warning. 2 minutes, get your stuff together. And then he says, when you get your 2 minutes, you should write the speech and be ready and eloquent and, orate for 2 quick minutes and all this stuff, exaggerate as much as you want. And then at the end say, if this is not the truth, may God strike me dead.
And then that's it.
That's it. It's your 2-minute warning. All right, Chris, how do we find you and your lovely wife?
Yeah, check us out on SerenityWealthNow.com. And actually, for business owners, you've got a new resource available to you on our website. You can go to SerenityNowBiz.com, and there's a great playbook for business owners.
And let me guess, it's free.
It is free.
You
of course
do everything. You don't make any money writing. You write all this great stuff.
I want to help people. Education first, and then we see what we can do to help somebody.
All right, Chris Cooper, the best.
Thanks, guys.
See you next time.
Absolutely.
All right, that's it. Let's get out of here. We'll come back. We'll do the chat box. Then we'll do the Wii. You ready for the Wheel of audio clips? All right, chat box is next. A little louder, baby. A little louder, yeah. Super Tramp. On 101.9 and 94.1, News Talk STL. #1 for live and local conservative talk.
News, analysis, opinion.
It almost seems common sense, but, alas, common sense isn't so common these days.
News Talk STL. The Hammond Institute at Lindenwood University and News Talk STL invite you to an exclusive discussion on Missouri's tax future. Manish Bhatt, Vice President of State Tax Policy for the Tax Foundation, will explore our state's tax competitiveness and the latest efforts to eliminate individual income tax and property tax. Wednesday, March 25th at Lindenwood University, part of the H.F. Langenberg Speaker Series. The event is free, but you must RSVP at hammondinstitute.org. That's hammondinstitute.org.
Hi, this is Mark Harder with RE/MAX Results, the region's largest RE/MAX real estate brokerage. It is cold outside, but the real estate market is hot. This is a great time to buy or sell a home. Interest rates are also declining, which gives you more buying power. Someday is not a day on the calendar, but today is. Call me at 314-852-8933 for a free custom home buying plan. 314-852-8933.
You can feel the Clydesdales circling the field. Hear the stands come alive. Smell the hot dogs, the popcorn, and cold beer in the air. See the crowd rise as the first pitch hits the glove. And just like that, a new season begins. The countdown is on until opening day, and tickets start at just $49. Don't miss St. Louis's favorite holiday. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/opening day.
Swings, and it's a high fly ball. That's hit deep. It's a gunner! It's a gunner! And a game winner!
Start the season in style. On Saturday, March 28th, the Cardinals welcome the Tampa Bay Rays for a spring showdown downtown. That day, you can score a lightweight Cardinals pullover, a navy blue look built for early season nights, and easy everyday wear. Comfortable, classic, and ready for cool evenings at the ballpark. It's a layer you'll reach for all season long. Get tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is what's happening.
The president has no plan for any kind of large-scale ground force inside of Iran.
This war is not about the Iranian people. It's about this poisonous regime.
101.9 and 94.1.
Number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Do you know this band, Sonia Dada? I got to sing along with it. I'm sorry. Blue Mary, and Screaming John. One more line. Screaming John had a broken heart. He was outside crying all night in the parking lot. Okay, you can get rid of it now. One of the most underrated bands in music history, Sonia Dada from Chicago. And Ken knows them. I love them. Ken loves them. And I don't know. I wish more of the world knew about Sonia Dada. What can I say? All right. Before we get into the chat box, death news all over today. We lost Chuck Norris at age 86. And now we find out we lost Mean Joe Green. I'm sure he's an NFL Hall of Famer. Wouldn't you say, Cole, that he was an NFL Hall of Famer?
Of course, he's got to be.
Did he wear number 75? Did I nail that? I'm not sure.
So.
I'm not sure. I'll look it up.
Not
All right.
100%.
Let's get to the chat box. Here we go. Here we go. Nope. There we go. Coyote in first this morning. Good morning, Vic Heads. It's Friday. Yay. Good morning, Patriots from PMS. What is Ed Stoit on? I swear to God, Ed Stoit is boycotting the show. I don't like it. Hey, it's good to see you. Good morning, all freedom-fighting Patriot Vic Heads. Whoosh, my brothers and sisters. Duke says, oh, my God, Chuck Norris died? I thought he would live to over 100. He'll be missed. He certainly will. Duke says it's no, so... Chuck Norris is on the periodic elements table. He's the element of surprise. Chuck Norris counted to infinity twice. When God said, let there be light, Chuck Norris said, say please. Chuck Norris doesn't just read books. He stares them down and gets the information he wants. There may be more, but that was four Chuck Norris jokes on the chat box, in the chat box, right before your very ears. There's old Ed Stoid. Hey, it's good to see you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. No fair elections, no peace. No fair tariffs, no peace. And Ed says, President calling out the paper tigers in NATO. Donald John Grover Cleveland Trump. Have you ever heard of President Grover Cleveland?
Yeah.
He was our 22nd and 24th president. So he and Trump are the only two who have ever done that. That's why we call him Donald John Grover Cleveland Trump. And nobody else but us does that. Nobody else cares. Good morning, all you beautiful, mega, ultra-patriotic, deplorable, garbage, degenerate, freedom-fighting, God-fearing, thick-head weirdos. Whoosh! It's Friday. Whoosh. Oh, look at you throwing the whooshes in. Well done, Cole. Listening, but got to drive for a bit. No excuse, Ed. No excuse. Happy Friday, Vic and Cole and all the Patriot Vic heads and Kenny as well, of course. Hey, Vic, baby. It's my girl, Cinderfer. And Cole, you get a shout out from Cinderfer, so feel lucky there. And hi, all you Vic heads. If God brought Chuck home, his war with Satan must be coming up soon. Oh, God just upgraded his warriors with the best of the best. I love that. That's why God needed Chuck Norris to fight the devil. Chuck will give the devil roundhouse kick to the horns, right?
That he will.
Hopkins, haven't heard from you in forever. Used to watch Texas Ranger just to see if Chuck Norris would kick the bad guy in the face. I recently watched the series The Gray House. It was historical about women spies in the Civil War. Wow. I love that. Allison turning us on to that. Thank you, Allison. Allison says, Vic, you've been honoring our veterans for many years. Thank you so much. We try to do what we can do. Vic for Vets is our Wednesday morning honor for our veterans. We try to do that. Well, we do that every Wednesday. And if you've got a veteran you want to honor, just hit up Ken at NewstalkSTL. Tell us about the person, and that's it. Everybody have a great weekend. That's an order from Allison. Over to Facebook we go. Oh, Scooter is first in line here today. Wow, Scooter's all over the place. He says, great to see Ms. Moore getting more airtime. Susie Moore, of course, in case you don't know, now the co-host of the morning show with Mike Ferguson. Scooter also says, I saw that he had been hospitalized in Hawaii, talking about Chuck Norris. It didn't look good. Sad news. Scooter says, no picture of Brenda Talent? Calm down, Scooter. Cole's doing what he can do, okay? Leave him alone. Doing everything else great. Red Shirt Friday. Damn it. I have no red. Oh, here's a little bit of red on my NewstalkSTL t-shirt. Cole's got some red on his. That's for Remember Everyone Deployed. That's why you wear red on Fridays. You're supposed to, but I don't because I'm a terrible American. Good morning, Vic Head Patriots. Thank you, Amy. It's Friday. When St. Charles granted a tax break to senior homeowners, the county lost $5 million, most of which have gone to schools. ID, prop, fire, prop, EMS passes next week. The number goes up to $20 million. Less revenue. At 86, doesn't take much to knock you down. He was surrounded by a loving family, which is all we can ever ask for. They didn't kick her out. During lunch, there's a 90-minute limit on how long you can hold a table. Her party of 3 was finished. The security detail in the dining room was part of the problem. Government Huckabee left after 80 minutes. Close but no cigar, Scooter. The governor of a state gets to have protection. That protection will be armed guards of some kind, okay? So here's what did happen. She did get to eat. She paid her bill. She tipped the waiter, whatever it was, and then she was asked to leave because she was definitely in the person's mind, not threatening, but triggering people who work there, and they're uncomfortable and they're stupid. And I still don't, I never see liberals kicked out of restaurants owned by conservatives. Amy says, good to hear from Stell. Stell is like the greatest person ever. He's so nice. And he never has a bad thing to say about anybody. And he went to SLU to play basketball. How about that? And he's real happy with the Billikens, and who isn't? So you'll notice that there is a comment in the chat box on Facebook that says, yo, Vic and Ken. That's Rat, my friend Rat from school, who didn't realize that Ken wasn't here, but that's fine. And Rat is a great second baseman. I was the catcher in our on our high school team. He was second baseman. We used to throw people out left and right. Good morning, Freedom Fighters. Thank you, Tom. Barbara says you're doing a wonderful job, Cole, filling in for Ken. Thank you. Vic, you're doing fine, too. Fine? That's it? You're fine? If a woman says fine, it's not, oh, yeah, right? Hey, honey, I'm going to go away for the weekend with my friend. Is that okay? It's fine. If you hear that's fine, you should hear a snake rattle. Yeah. When Chuck Norris got to the pearly gates in heaven, he said, okay, Peter, I'll take it from here. God bless you, Chuck Norris. All right, that's all the time we have for chat box. So, again, let's just run through a couple of things because we're going to get into the wheel of audio clips here, and we're not going to be able to talk too much about the other stuff because all this other stuff is going on. First of all, we lost Chuck Norris. And, it's funny how he wasn't an Andre the Giant. He wasn't a, Lou Ferrigno, Arnold Schwarzenegger, big guy. But, boy, he was rough and tough. And, as high as the black belts go in karate, Chuck Norris had it. And, the jokes will go on forever. Thank you, Kathleen. She says, have a great weekend. Fam, bam. But, the jokes will continue. And we'll do them here, too, on what Chuck Norris is doing now that he's in heaven. And Big Mean Joe Green died, defensive end. I got to look to see up what number Mean Joe Green was. I think he was 75. Because he passed away, too. Mean Joe Green, 75. Nailed it! And the other big news is the Billikens. Billikens crushed Georgia last night, 102-77. I was nervous going into the game. Now, why was Georgia ranked higher? The Billikens are 29-5, and that's with the win last night. And Georgia was 22-11. Well, why weren't we ranked higher than them if we have more wins and less losses? And the announcer, I know I'm going to sound like a big homer here, okay, but I am. Okay, I'm a big homer. I'm a hack. The announcers in that game did not want SLU to win. They wanted Georgia to win. And they had a kid on the team named Wilkins who played for the Atlanta. No, his father played for the Atlanta Hawks in the NBA. I got to find out his first name. NBA Wilkins. And they did this whole thing, this whole feature on him before Dominique Wilkins. This whole feature before the game on him and how he likes to dunk, and he's got all these dunks and 22 dunks this year. And Robbie Avila said, "Here, hold my goggles." And he had a great game, and the Billikens won. So, root on our Billikens tomorrow at 11:10. That is probably the early game, so that might start pretty close to that. Mizzou won, and Illinois won. Boy, it's a good time to be a basketball fan around these parts. All right, let's take a quick break.
And Chris Arps in the afternoon.
We had music. Let's let it go. Just let it go.
Be out tomorrow, but don't worry. Former Speaker Rod Jedden will fill in as co-host as we talk to Congressman Bob Onder at 4:20.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Hey, it's Susie Moore. If new flooring makes you think hassle, think again, because Michael's Flooring is changing the game. For over 30 years, Michael's has been locally owned and trusted for quality, variety, and amazing service. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl, or ceramic tile, their expert team makes installing new floors exciting, not stressful. That's why customers keep coming back. Visit Michael's Flooring at St. Peter's, Starting Prairie, Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Alan Link, owner of the Dental Link. You've heard ads about teeth in a day, but did you know that you will be chewing on plastic, acrylic teeth? Here at the Dental Link, we can give you porcelain crown and bridge teeth utilizing mini dental implants that function much more like real teeth at about half the cost. Plus, mini dental implants are less invasive, less painful, and your recovery time is much shorter. Give us a call at 314-794-6464 or simply visit us today at thedentallink.com.
Cardinal Nation, it's time to paint the town red.
Opening day of Cardinal baseball at Busch Stadium.
And there's nothing else like it.
It's a St. Louis tradition.
Two things define St. Louis: Cardinal baseball and News Talk STL. Play ball! Cardinal baseball opening day, March 26th, backed by our hometown favorites, Best Buy Flooring, Jim and I Wealth Management, and Whistle Pig Outdoors.
Cardinal baseball.
Hey, Columbo here for Rockwood Charcoal. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
Are you struggling with life's pressures? The Flot Line has answers. Join host Rick Hughes for biblical principles and learn how to build a spiritual flot line in your soul. Discover God's plan for your life. Sunday mornings at 9:30 on News Talk STL.
I love this song. What's the name of the band?
Tune Yards?
All right, Tune Yards, yeah. Oh, yeah, all right, so this song, just very quickly. There was a series on HBO called Nurse Jackie, and it featured Carmela Soprano, whose real name is Edie Falco, as a nurse, drug-addicted nurse. And there was a girl who she was trying to train as a new nurse. Her name was Zoe, I think. And the two of them, at the end of one episode, danced on the sidewalk in New York City to that song about the water fountains. Hoo-ha, hoo-ha. All right, I guess it's time for the Wheel of Audio Clips. Let's do it. No. The opening. Is there an opening with Jim? No opening with Jim? Okay, no problem. Oh, there we go. That's it. That's it.
Brought to you by Johnson Heating and Cooling, making homes comfortable all year round. 636-332-4141.
It's America's favorite game show, The Wheel of Audio Clips. Here's the host of Wheel of Audio Clips, Vic Porcelli.
Thank you, Jim Odson. Studio audience, good to have you guys here with us. Appreciate you. Wheel of Audio Clips, just as Jim said, America's favorite game show. We find out all these clips that Ken has put together throughout the week. He put them on the wheel. I think Cole has put the WD-40 on the wheel, right? Have you done that? So it's good and ready to go. And wherever the wheel stops, that's what we play. All right, Cole, now spin that wheel and let's find a audio clip to play. All right. Take a sip. Mean Joe Green and Chuck just, I don't know, on the same day, too much. Okay, this is the audio clip of the week by far. President Trump in the White House being asked a question from the Japanese press, and his answer was priceless. Number 2.
Very good friend, but one question, why didn't you tell U.S. allies in Europe and Asia, like Japan, about the war before attacking Iran? So we are very confused about we Japanese citizens.
Well, one thing, you don't want to signal too much. You know, when we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay? Right? You know, he's asking me, do you believe in surprise? I think much more so than us. And we had to surprise him, and we did. And because of that surprise, we knocked out, the first 2 days, we probably knocked out 50% of what and much more than we anticipated doing. So if I go and tell everybody about it, there's no longer a surprise.
I'm sure the press in Japan is different than the press in America. But I guess they still ask stupid questions. You know, why was it such a surprise? Can you imagine asking Dwight David Eisenhower why D-Day was such a surprise? Why didn't you tell the Germans you were coming? So I got a kick out of that. I think you're going to be hearing more about that. I think Ken's going to do some stuff with that. I just have a feeling. All right, Cole, spin the wheel. Let's find another audio clip to play on the wheel of audio clips. Sounds good. Sounds like nice and oiled. 3-in-1 oil. What's 2-in-1? Shoe polish. What's 3-in-1? Oil. Little rascals. Oh, Zohran Mamdani. He's holding back tears as he says he's a victim.
I get messages that say the only good Muslim is a dead Muslim. I get threats on my life. on the people that I love. And I try not to talk about it. Because the function of racism, as Toni Morrison said, is distraction. My focus has always been on making this a city that's affordable, on making this a city that every New Yorker sees themselves in.
Of course, Toni Morrison.
And it takes a toll.
Poor Zohran. He's a victim. And I want to also point out on this show, and I can only speak for this show, that I always say not every Muslim is an Islamic, but every Islamic is a Muslim. So there's a connection, of course. We don't hate all Muslims. We just don't like Islam because it's not Ken talks about it every day on this show. It's not a religion. It's a military strategy. And the more I hear him talk about it, the more I know he's right. All right, Cole, spin that wheel again, and let's find another cut to play on the wheel of audio clips. Friday, by the way, everybody. Weekend on the way. Oh, okay, Jamie Raskin. And this is another behind the curtain thing. You know, come look behind the curtain and what happens behind the scenes in radio. When Ken writes up the clip sheet for me. Whenever he writes Jamie Ratskin, he writes Jamie Ratskin because he's a rat. Talking about the SAVE Act and making our point more than his own.
They've got no program for the country other than disenfranchisement, voter suppression, the SAVE Act, which I think violates the 19th Amendment when you tell American women you bring your driver's license and you bring your birth certificate, and if they don't match, which they won't for 69 million American women, then you need to bring a passport, and half of the people don't have passports, you know? So, yeah, just go out and buy an ID. That's a poll tax.
I have a plan because the left and liberals are saying that they don't realize how racist they are in trying to make other people look like racists when they're racists themselves. Here's my plan. They don't want you to have a photo ID to vote when you need a photo ID to do almost everything else in life. Everything else in life. So my plan is you don't need photo ID for anything. Nothing. Not to buy liquor, not to buy cigarettes, not to get into R-rated movies, nothing. If voting is not as important to get an ID for, then it shouldn't be available for anything. All right, I just want to say something here that apparently the Mean Joe Green thing is a hoax, and he's not dead. I hate that. Let's see. Legendary Pittsburgh Steelers defensive tackle Mean Joe Green is alive and well, and social media reports claiming he passed away are a false death hoax. So, have you ever seen the commercials on TV for Shriners Hospital, where if you donate, you can get an adorable Love to the Rescue blanket?
Yeah.
There's two kids that dominated a lot of those commercials. One's the kid that says that, and the other kid's this adorable little blonde-haired kid who is in a wheelchair, and he's always dressed up with a shirt and tie. Both of them, they had hoax obituaries for both of those kids. And, if you're going to say Mean Joe Green died and he didn't, that's a hoax. That's not good, but at least he's an adult. But when you do it to these kids, really?
Yeah.
No soul? You have no soul? Why do people do that? So Mean Joe Green's alive. That's great news, though, right?
That's good.
Chuck Norris is still dead. That's the bad news. All right, spin the wheel. Okay, let's see where we're going to land here. Yep, Senator John Kennedy talking about Prime Minister Starmer from the United Kingdom, and he wants to give President Trump advice about our little problem with Iran.
He also is trying to give President Trump advice about how to conduct the war. That's a little bit like seeking the advice of a nun about sex. Sir Keir Starmer is the last person you would want to go to advise you about how to have a military confrontation. He's the kind of guy that he'll want to quote, if you're in the middle of a bar fight, he'll want to stop and quote Socrates. That's what this is, a bar fight.
John Kennedy's just the best. He's the absolute best. And Prime Minister Starmer, boy, I'll tell you, remember all the great stereotypes about England and London? How are you, mate? Yeah, all right, yeah. In Liverpool, you get your Paul McCartney clothes and you go have some sushi. How old are you?
23.
So, do you talk like a Generation Z kid, or are you what are you? What's your generation? It doesn't matter. Do you shorten words like my daughter does?
Sometimes.
So, instead of sushi, she'll say, "We'll get some sushi."
I don't use that one, but.
And she wanted to get a sweet little bevy. That means beverage.
I have used that one.
There you go. What else does she say? Sweet little bevy. Sushi. Here's the sitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use that
I've
one.
used that one.
Do you guys just don't like syllables? Are you syllablists? What's your problem?
No, sometimes it's just easier. It's quicker.
It's one more. Sushi is one more syllable. But she's got to say, let's have some sushi, you know? And I don't know why sushi got my Liverpool accent going. All right, spin the wheel. Jeez. Cole, it is okay to tell me to shut the hell up and let's move on. But I do like doing the Liverpool accent, the old Liverpool accent, you know, like Paul McCartney and John Lennon. And then, come on, that's good Paul McCartney, isn't it?
That is good.
You don't care. Don't tell me like, oh, one of our faves. Pramila Jayapal, Democrat representative. Listen to this.
The majority of Americans across the country, regardless of political party, know that immigrants from all over the world, Somalia, India, wherever they're from, Latin America, Africa, that immigrants have built this country and make this country what it is today.
Now, isn't it funny how she mentioned Somalia and Africa and South American countries? Funny that she didn't say Italians, right? Because if you're standing in New York City and you're looking at a church, I'll bet you an Italian made it, or a bunch of Italians. That's what we do. We do cement. I don't do cement, but the ancestors did do cement. But it's funny, she didn't say anything about the Irish. You know, nothing about the Irish, nothing about the Germans, just the black and brown people. That the only people who have done anything for this country as immigrants apparently are black and brown people. And that's it. All right. That's all the time we have for the Wheel of Audio Clips. You got an outro you can play? There we go. All right. That's all the time we have for the Wheel of Audio Clips. This is Vic Porcelli saying, control the liberal population. Have your liberal spayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody. All right. So, Cole, I think we have to, in honor of Chuck Norris, we got to run through as many Chuck Norris jokes as we can. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's
fair. I think
fair.
that's fair.
I got one for you.
Hit me.
One that I liked as a kid, my favorite, was that Chuck Norris and Superman had a fight, and the loser had to wear their underwear on the outside of their clothes.
Oh, my God. Chuck Norris can strangle you with a cordless phone. Now, that's some skill right there. Chuck Norris turns off the dark when entering a room. Spells Chuck Norris to win forever, playing Scrabble. Chuck Norris can cure cancer, but he never cries. Can cure cancer, but he never cries. Jokes. Doesn't wear one. He decides the time. His watch. He doesn't wear a watch. He decides what time it is. And revolving doors. Chuck Norris can slam a revolving door. Fire making. He starts a fire by rubbing 2 ice cubes together. Chuck Norris can clap with one hand. Chuck Norris throws a grenade, killing 50 people before it explodes. Chuck Norris made the Grand Canyon while skydiving. Chuck Norris. So the boogeyman checks his closet every night to see if Chuck Norris is in there. Chuck Norris shatters the mirror. The mirror shatters when Chuck Norris looks at it. Infinity. Chuck Norris counted to infinity twice. The cobra bit Chuck Norris, then died after 5 days of pain. Evolution, just a list of species he allows to live. Oh, come on, there's more than that. Yeah, okay. I did all of them? No, there's no way. Let's find some more, shall we? Got time, right? We got plenty of time. Chuck Norris jokes. Chuck Norris jokes. Hold on, everybody. By the way, can't wait to watch the Billikens tomorrow, 11:10, play Michigan, who are the number 1 seed in that region. And we probably should have mentioned that Mizzou is playing at the Enterprise Center. I think that's kind of cool. Chuck Norris doesn't read books. He stares them down until he gets the information he wants. Time waits for no man, unless that man is Chuck Norris. If you spell Chuck Norris in Scrabble, you win. Chuck Norris breathes air just 5 times a day. The flu gets a Chuck Norris shot every year. In the beginning, there was nothing. Then Chuck Norris roundhouse kicked nothing and told it to go get a job. When God said, "Let there be light," Chuck Norris said, "Say please." Chuck Norris has a mug of nails instead of coffee in the morning. if Chuck Norris were to travel to an alternate dimension in which there was another Chuck Norris and they both fight, they'd both win somehow. The dinosaurs looked at Chuck Norris the wrong way once. You know what happened to the dinosaurs. Chuck Norris, here we go. Now this one makes sense. Chuck Norris's tears cure cancer. Too bad he's never cried. Chuck Norris once roundhouse kicked someone so hard that his foot broke the speed of light. You could ask Chuck Norris what time it is. He always says 2 seconds till. After you ask, 2 seconds to what? He roundhouse kicks you in the face. Chuck Norris appears in the Street Fighter II video game, but was removed by beta testers because every button caused him to do a roundhouse kick. When asked about this glitch, Chuck Norris replied, "That's no glitch." Since 1940, the year Chuck Norris was born, roundhouse kick-related deaths have increased 13,000%. Chuck Norris does not own a stove, oven, or microwave because revenge is a dish best served cold. There's no chin behind Chuck Norris's beard. There's only another fist. The chief export of Chuck Norris is pain. Chuck Norris recently had the idea to sell his pee as a canned beverage. It's called Red Bull. All right, that's it. We're done. Have a great weekend. Jamie's next. Thank you for having the record player on at night to listen to us this morning. And Cole, thank you so much for filling in. We appreciate it. You'll be here back here Monday, right?
That I will.
That you've agreed to come back is a good sign.
Yeah.
That you had a little bit of a good time.
I did.
Have a great weekend. Go Billikens! Go Robbie Avila. Kick some Michigan ass.
Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros and Exteriors, your all-in-one service team that brings years of experience and quality that's affordable right to your doorstep. Christine and I discovered Gutter Pros and Exteriors when we bought our